Hey everybody, you are tuning in to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. The show's going to get started in just about a minute and 45 seconds. And we are broadcasting live across the internet in our usual locations. But in addition to that, we are also live over at noagendastream.com. So big shout out to Adam and John and all the trolls in the troll room. So this is a new, interesting schedule we have today, but a great opportunity to let you know about a couple cool things. If you want to know everything going on in the Canaryverse, head on over to CanaryCry.Party. That's right, CanaryCry.Party. It's one of these nice little LINKTREE thingies here, but if you're interested in getting connected to all of the Canary Cry resources available, content, I don't know, join the street team, play Canary Cry Bingo, let's see, get connected to the Canary Cry family at CanaryCry.community, join the Discord server, all sorts of things over there at CanaryCry.Party. Well, we got a great show for you today. As I was saying, an unusual experiment doing a Sunday show, of course. Thank you everybody for giving us a break, letting us take Friday off. You'll hear more about that during the show. But we will be back to our regularly scheduled programming starting tomorrow. I know, Monday, 2 show days in a row, folks. And for those who may not have heard of us before, Canary Cry News Talk will be broadcasting live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for all your, I don't know, wonderful podcasting needs. If you're a long-haul trucker or just have extra 3 or 4 hours 3 times a week, come on in, tune in. Okay, folks, the countdown is finished. So make sure to stay hydrated, buckle your seatbelts. It's going to be a good time. Let's go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is April 9th, 2022. We are live to tape for this episode 469. And today, VETO Mosquito. And Razzle Basil, I am your best buddy Basil.
Well, it's April 10th, but it's
What did
okay.
I say?
The 9th, but that's my fault.
We're time travelers once again, Gonz.
And my name is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting all the egregious things in the world with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And we are here on a Sunday. It's Palm Sunday, so there you go. And
get out your palm leaves, folks.
Throw them around. Yep.
The king is coming in on that donkey.
Yeah.
And it feels weird, man. It feels weird to be doing a Sunday show. But, well, I guess we'll talk more about that later. I do want to give everybody a rundown before we jump right in to our lead stories. Of course, if you're new to the show, you will experience a roller coaster of, I don't know, tears and laughter and news.
Lots of tears.
And maybe a lot of inside jokes you might not understand at first glance, but we do want to try our best not to alienate new listeners, but we think you're going to like it. We're going to be covering stories, of course, some updates on Ukraine. We've got some mosquitoes, of course, that you need to hear about. Getting into some politics, killer robots, of course. Once we kick YouTube off of the stream, we'll be getting into some COVID and vaccine information, checking in on Bill Gates and climate change, pharmakia, and of course everybody's favorite, Antarctica. But Gonz, I think it's time we get on into the lead stories.
Fight for Ukraine, new world order.
New world order.
We're doing it. We're doing it. And, it's been weird having a couple extra days for things to happen before we do a show. Did not result in much more interesting things happening for us to report on. But, of course, I'm sure everybody's heard of the recent military movements going on in Ukraine. We're not going to spend too much time on it, but we will take the chance to see what this means for the world. This is coming from the Wall Street Journal, and the headline is Ukraine, Russia, gear up for war's biggest battles. The biggest battles, Gonz.
I thought we already had.
Thought they've been. You thought they were big so far.
Yeah.
No,
sanctions.
Hypersonic missiles, sanctions. Oh, those nasty sanctions. No, now they're really stepping it up.
Okay.
A lot of this I'm just going to skip, honestly.
Thank you.
Because this is an enormous article. It's almost like the Wall Street Journal knew there wasn't much to write about, so they just wrote as much as they could about stuff we already know. But I want to skip down about halfway down. Let me give you an intro, and then we're going to skip about halfway down to a quote that I thought was a little concerning. So it starts out like this. Ukraine and Russia poured reinforcements into eastern Ukraine this weekend, preparing for what is likely to become the war's biggest battles as refugees continued to flee the looming Russian assault. Russia's main objective now, Gonz, is to seize the parts of the eastern Donbass region not yet controlled by Moscow. Unlike the first phase of the 6-week-old conflict, that shift is forcing Ukraine into fighting conventional battles involving tanks, artillery, and aircraft on flat, often barren terrain that allows Russia to leverage its superiority in military equipment. Then it goes into fresh Russian tanks, not just any Russian tanks, fresh Russian tanks and fresh artillery units straight from the farm, as well as forces withdrawn from areas around Kiev began arriving in recent days to staging grounds for the offensive north of the Ukrainian city of Izium, according to footage shown on Russian military television. So they're taking all this information just from Russia television. We're not allowed to watch RT on YouTube, but Wall Street Journal gets their news from Putin.
Oh, it's got to be filtered. Yeah,
of course. So I'm going to skip down to some very interesting details, which I had highlighted. Oh, there we go. All right, this different type of warfare with large formations facing each other instead of small unit strikes is a major reason why Kiev says it urgently needs heavy weapons, such as artillery, tanks, and anti-aircraft batteries that most Western allies have been reluctant to supply so far. And here's a quote. The battle for Donbass will remind you of the Second World War, with its large operations and maneuvers, the involvement of thousands of tanks, armored vehicles, planes, and artillery. We get it. There's so many big, beefy machines. And this will not be a local operation based on what we see in Russia's preparations.
Whoa, what does that mean?
Local Ukraine's
operations?
Foreign. Yes, this is not local. This is an international
it's a space war.
Show. Yeah, it's a space war. Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmitry Kuleba said after meeting North Atlantic Treaty Organization ministers this past week, quote, either you help us now, and I'm speaking days, not weeks, or your help will come too late and many people will die. Very heavy.
Wow.
And so, along the lines of what we've been seeing with Ukraine and their flirtations with NATO, we've had Zelensky, when it's convenient for him, mention that, oh, no, we're happy to withdraw our desires to join NATO. We're happy to stay neutral when it comes to negotiations with Putin. However, he's like, they're meeting with NATO members all the time and asking for stuff from NATO forever. And here's the most exciting part. While Ukraine initially sought Soviet-designed heavy weapon systems that its troops are trained to use, the limited supply of this equipment and ammunition, combined with the prospect of a lengthy conflict, mean that Kiev is now requesting purchases of NATO standard heavy weapons, Ukraine's defense minister Oleksiy Reznikov said. So they're like, yeah, we won't join NATO, but we're going to hang out with NATO. We're going to use NATO weapons. We're going to be funded by NATO. We're basically just going to be NATO, but we're not going to tell Putin that. Okay, everybody take it easy.
It's almost as if NATO used Ukraine as an excuse to start flexing their military might. They're like, well, there's a conflict here, so
I guess. They've never had the chance to do it before.
That's what I'm saying. So this is a good opportunity to start flexing a little bit. Maybe not go full out yet, but also this all rings familiar. This kind of feels like the World War II talk and all that. Just the way the United States has become the supplier of Israel. I feel like this is kind of the direction with Zelensky being a Jewish, being presented as this Jewish guy, this hero in the West.
There can't be Nazis in there. He's a Jew.
He's a Jew. Yeah, of course.
Now I have, Zelensky has always been an expert at using the right trigger words.
He's talking all of them.
This is 9/11. This is like Pearl Harbor. This is like, and he just rattles off like the social engineered programming to trigger flag. Every American.
Every false flag event.
Yeah, when he starts talking, people stare off into the middle distance and like they hear news reports from 9/11 echoing in their mind. But just the full on so this next battle is going to be like World War II. It's going to be like World War II, just straight up. This is it.
Yeah.
And that sort of rhetorical connection to what we're all sort of either expecting or have heard analyzed to us is that, this could be World War III. And we all know how World War II ended, Gonz, with the nukes, man. So it's a nice
nuked,
throwback. Yeah, somebody gets nuked.
In theory.
Uh-huh. So there you go. I don't know. That was kind of the main change in. It wasn't even a change. It was the next sort of high water mark for. Just sort of triggering the socially engineered programming in all of us.
All the conflict.
Now, I did want to jump over and finish up real quick. This is from a CNBC article. The headline is UN votes to remove Russia from Human Rights Council. Now, on Wednesday, we reported about the
vote taking place on Thursday. So this is the results of that vote.
Exactly. So they had the vote and they did it. And it says the United Nations suspended Russia from its seat on the Human Rights Council on Thursday as the world calls out atrocities committed in Ukraine. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Linda Thomas-Greenfield introduced the proposal earlier in the week following accusations that Russian troops tortured and killed Ukrainian civilians in Bucha, a suburb near Kiev. And then it goes into a description of the bodies. The bodies were discovered after Moscow withdrew its troops. This was all last week's sort of madness.
Right.
But they did it. They kicked them out. They're not on the Human Rights Council. Now, longtime listeners of Canary Cry, you will know that the UN Human Rights Council, they actually appear quite a bit on the show. Usually not in a situation like this. They are the ones who continually write the essays and put out the reports and, do the research about how artificial intelligence is going to kill us all.
Yeah,
and how it's
they're the anti-AI international establishment. It's very strange.
Exactly. It's really weird council. They're kicking Russia out, and they care very much about artificial intelligence and how it will, create inequality.
Well, their whole call has been to regulate. And so it's not so much like, you should be afraid of AI. It's more like we need to make sure it's ethical. And it's like, okay, UN. Hopefully you guys aren't the ones to decide what's ethical, but the AI police, exactly.
They said, we're going to control who gets AI, who doesn't, and how are we going to do that? With our own AI. Our own RoboCops will control the world's AI. Yeah. So I thought this was interesting because the conversation, or I guess maybe the rant that I got into, was the very interesting connection between the New World Order 2.0 through, Klaus Schwab, Great Reset, World Economic Forum. We're in a new world order, a new world order, apparently. And the media's really very tactful sort of jujitsu move to reverse the sting, reverse the momentum of what the words New World Order mean. We played plenty of clips from mainstream media talking about the New World Order, and I thought this was a conspiracy theory thing. Well, no, it's just sort of how the international community decided on rules and blah, 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 blah. But as we watch Putin become some sort of scapegoat, of course, we know that he was the World Economic Forum Young Global Leader,
right.
And it's really hard for somebody who's skeptical of official narratives to consider that he's gone totally rogue without any planning. I mean, Klaus Schwab himself said that they had penetrated cabinets across the world.
Yeah.
And why would Putin be any different? Well, we don't know. But this scapegoat situation, where in order to move into the new world order, the Great Reset, we need to put all of our sins onto the scapegoat. We need to, all of our inequality, all of our racism, all of our lesser natures,
right.
all of our...
Which is the point I was going to make earlier, was that, this is like the ultimate cancel culture. We've been seeing all this cancel culture. Now we've canceled the country. We're going to start canceling other countries, and that's sort of the trend. And it's very, of course, it makes sense.
And it's no surprise because so much virtue signaling has gone into this. I mean, there's the Zelensky sexuals or whatever. Mirroring just word for word or moment by moment of all the sort of previous virtue signaling fads throughout the pandemic and such. But it really has become a social justice issue. And in that means we got to take all of our badness that especially the U.S. has committed during this new world order, and we need to get rid of it. And how do you get rid of it? Well, you get a scapegoat. And just for a brief review, in case anybody doesn't know the origins of the scapegoat, this is sort of an ancient Hebrew ritual where you just literally get a goat once a year, and you stand that goat up. Everybody oohs and ahs at the goat, and the priest is up there and does his thing. And then, the sins of the entire community is put onto that goat. And you would think at this point you kill the goat. They don't kill the goat. You just send the goat away out into the wilderness, and it carries all of your corporate sins with it. And you really see this being reflected in what's going on with Russia. I mean, anything that's bad with society, everything that we've been taught to, hate, and really, I mean, not saying that I'm trying to defend Russia in any way, but we've basically turned around, put all of our collective sins onto Russia. Everything that the U.S. has been doing for 70 years, everything that we've done militarily and economically around the world to serve ourselves in this new world order, we're just putting it onto Russia, and we send it on out the door. And I think this voting to get Russia off of the UN Human Rights Council is a really good example of a literal scapegoat ritual being done on sort of a global scale. And we know how the elites love their occult rituals and or whatever, even if they don't sort of profess its literal
like
spiritual
power
heaviness,
or whatever.
right? Yeah. They love to do it just because that's what you do when
they
you
got the
make
influence
big
and the
moves
power.
like this.
Yeah, they can do it.
Yeah. So there you go. That's all I got for the Ukraine updates here.
Well, in the meantime, while everyone's paying attention to Russia and Ukraine and all the horrible things happening right here, I'm from California. I live in California. Mm-hmm. It's going to get kind of weird here.
But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be?
We should invite fewer people to be born.
Because, according to the Opera News app, that's where I found this article, millions of gene-hacked mosquitoes set to be released in California. Now, I think they released a bunch in Florida last year.
Yeah. We followed the Florida one since the inception of the idea to when they
to the actual thing. Now, I was reading this article, and I'll read through some of it here, and I just had this in my mind where this is kind of like I imagined the mosquitoes being genetically modified, being unleashed into the population as an analogy of what they're trying to do with the human population, especially maybe with the the jab, the people with the things that maybe have.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know either. Sorry. So Susan, please. I'm sorry. I brought up things. Okay, so here's what it says. A company is planning to release a load of genetically modified mosquitoes loose in California in an attempt to lower the population of an invasive species, but not everyone is happy with the idea.
They're talking about Republicans? Thank you.
UK-based company Oxitec has created a new genetically modified mosquito in a lab that could later be turned free in California as part of an experiment that has recently received approval from the U.S. federal government. The plan is that the newly created mosquitoes could help save half the population of the world from the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which is responsible.
Wait a second. They're going to save half the population of the entire world?
Let me finish the sentence here.
I don't want to let you finish the sentence.
Half the population of the world from the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which is responsible for spreading diseases such as dengue fever, chikungunya fever, and yellow fever to humans. So there you go. They're the carriers.
No COVID, though.
Not yet. Yeah. The idea is that these mosquitoes will be released into the wild, then breed with the invasive species before the female offspring die, drastically reducing the overall population. The company claims that they managed to get rid of 95% of the invasive population when they conducted a similar experiment in an area of Brazil. That doesn't mean that the residents of California are mad about the idea, regardless of how friendly these mosquitoes are claimed to be. Even some of the other scientists have had their reservations about the whole thing. Really? There was no consensus amongst the scientists? How bizarre. That's not how I thought science worked. First off, it's not always the best thing to release a load of experimental creatures into the wild and claim that there's a risk that maybe haven't been considered. That's maybe they've been listening to our show. We've been kind of talking about the unforeseen variables with stuff like this, where it's just it's safe, sure, yeah, let them have it. But but the things we don't know is what's concerning. Secondly,
it's interesting. The quote unquote scientific attitude about this sort of thing, just like, we'll mess with some genetic material, or we'll create something that messes with genetic material. If you consider maybe some of the more new and exciting medical products that have come out in the past 2 years that everybody gets to have for free, as long as they're as long as they're a good citizen.
Right.
But it's this obsession with tampering with the genetics. And yet the just complete flagrant, they'll admit something could go wrong, but we'll see. There's only one way to find out.
But the benefits will outweigh the issues.
We hope so. We hope so. I do want to make a quick comment. I meant to say this at the beginning because it's in the headline and I love it. Millions of gene hacked. Hacked the gene. I wonder if, part of that has to be that you start talking about genetic modification, you'll freak people out. But, gene hacked is kind of fun. It's kind of flirty. It's kind of futuristic.
An actor named Gene Hackman?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he's a big psyop for the whole DNA transhuman 2.0 agenda.
Maybe he used to be a mosquito.
They gene hacked him. He's the first gene hacked actor.
Gene hacked man.
Oh, dude,
my gosh.
He's born Eugene Allen Hackman. Eugene, like eugenics. It's all connecting.
We're on to Eugene hacked man. And I just a real quick connection.
Sorry.
In the context of cyber pandemic, using the sort of hacker term, I don't know, has a weird sort of far away connection. But I just had to mention it.
He's been in movies like The Poseidon Adventure and Superman, which is like the quintessential Ubermensch transhuman film.
This whole thing.
Yeah.
Should we just turn this into the Gene Hackman show?
You pointed it out, man. You brought us down this rabbit trail. I'm trying to stay on course here.
Let's just pop on a Gene Hackman movie and just see what we can do. All right, continue.
Okay, so these Gene Hackman mosquitoes are going to be flying. Gene Hackman clone mosquitoes will be flying all over California. Some residents claim. Well, hold on. Let me find my spot. I completely lost my spot. Okay, we were talking about the different obstacles that they would face. Secondly, there are concerns from residents and barriers to approval for a scheme to be overcome yet. Okay, yeah. So, all right. Not everyone in California is like, hey, yeah, release them Gene Hackman mosquitoes.
Yeah, and I bet it was the same people who are, condemning Floridians for not wanting genetically modified mosquitoes released in Florida.
Yeah, that's an interesting, perhaps political sort of thing where,
it's a not in my backyard situation.
Right. It's kind of, look at all the people complaining about it in Florida. All these Republicans in Florida don't want progress.
Exactly.
California, are you going to be about progress or whatever? Yeah. So anyway, I can see them sort of trying to spin it to make it.
Again, maybe they said they're going to save half the population,
half the human population, because of
the other half in California. I don't know who they are, but they're out of luck.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's about it for that one. I just wanted to bring it to the show because it's an interesting story. And
did they have a date when they were trying to do this? Because last time it took like 3 years.
Yeah,
from the time that we reported on it. It took like 3 or 4 years.
Honestly, this report is all about how many barriers there are to actually make it happen. So I don't think it's going to happen quickly. But important to keep in mind, they just keep unleashing them gene hacked.
They got to save it. They got to save it for 2024, right before the election.
Maybe Biden will, kill all the gene hacked mosquitoes. That'll be part of his campaign,
He's
killed them all.
He's done so good, defeating COVID and
that's what he does.
Racism and All right, let's see here. What do we have next?
Oh, we got this alien thing. Yeah.
Aliens.
Mind control weapons.
Aliens.
So this is coming from the DailyMail.co.uk, and it's so long, but we'll just jump right in. And Gonz, maybe you have some thoughts. Exclusive. They woke up burned or injured. Top brain expert and ex-CIA officer reveals hundreds of military servicemen suffered brain damage or symptoms of the mysterious Havana syndrome and even death after encountering UFOs. I love you, Daily Mail. I love you so much. I mean, the things that they connected all in one sort of paragraph style headline. You've got brain expert, CIA, military, brain damage, Havana syndrome, death, UFOs. So this is let's just jump right into it. Do you want to do the bullet points on this sucker, or just do the?
We can just do the bullet points. Okay. Just time.
Time. Forensic neuroimaging expert Christopher Green says he has dealt with, quote, hundreds of patients who were injured or died after interacting with UFOs. I'm the go-to physician in the Department of Defense for unexplained morbidity and mortality, he told DailyMail.com in an exclusive interview. I do look at injuries and mortality from unidentified UAPs, that's unidentified aerial phenomena, he added. Green, a professor at the Wayne State School of Medicine in Detroit, was in 2010 commissioned to write a paper by a secret $22 million defense program. He describes symptoms of multiple sclerosis, brain damage, and burns among patients, close encounters of the third and fourth kind events. He said symptoms of many of the cases were similar to Havana syndrome, a mysterious illness affecting diplomats and U.S. officials in embassies around the world. Green said many of his patients experienced burns and brain damage, and that around 1 in 10 died within 7 years of their reported encounter. Whoa, dude.
Why 7?
Have you heard? Oh, good point. Have you heard the most recent sort of scientific consensus on the Havana syndrome?
I have not. I haven't kept up on it. I know it hit the mainstream a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago or something like that.
Sometime during COVID, they started actually caring about it and talking about it on the mainstream. But it's been going on since at least 2016 or something like that. But for those who don't know, the Havana syndrome is this strange thing that's been happening to U.S. Officials, diplomats, and things like that overseas, originally recorded in Havana in Cuba, where somebody reports hearing a strange noise and then a pressure in their head, and sometimes they barf or get disoriented, and it's long been sort of theorized, even before these reports, that it was some sort of directed energy weapon or microwave gun or something like that, where you could sort of secretly zap somebody's brain and cause problems. The most recent, again, mainstream scientific consensus is that it's a certain type of cricket. There's a cricket that makes a loud noise that is like messing with people's brains. And people, even on podcasts who are sort of bill themselves as anti-establishment or skeptical of mainstream narratives, things like that, a lot of them are really latching onto this cricket theory. Anyways, that's neither here nor there, because this guy, Dr. Green, says that, Havana syndrome is UFOs, not crickets. And I don't know. I kind of trust the guy.
Maybe they're gene-hacked crickets, though. You know, they got some superpowers.
Gene Hackman crickets. Okay. So that's the long and short of it. There's more details in there if you wanted to dive in, but...
Well, this comes at the heels of some of the FOIA request stuff that we covered. I think it was last episode. Maybe it was the one before. Mm-hmm. But, there's just more and more people coming out talking about these issues. I always am very skeptical when an ex-CIA officer comes out and says anything.
Yeah. As if there was such a thing as ex-CIA.
What's the motive here? But it's interesting because in the last, especially since the lockdowns, the whole alien UFO topic has become sort of like a back pocket. Like they can always pull it out to discuss it at any point in time, to kind of distract people from whatever else is going on. So, and it's a slow trickle disclosure that we've had in the last couple of years, where the government certainly has been admitting to all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, official declassifications being the big difference now. And
I really do think that they're just moving, they're moving the public towards receiving certain changes in the infrastructure. It's not just about the Great Reset, that too, but as the elite have access to some technologies that the rest of the world doesn't, maybe they got to do the trickle out so that some of the more exotic tech can sort of exist, or I don't know, be attributed to you. And I say this, based on a lot of research done by a lot of people over the years. One particular thing that's interesting is Ben Rich, who is the former Lockheed Martin Skunk Works division head guy. He passed away, I think, in the 90s or something. But one of the guys that interviewed him, I don't remember the exact quote, but effectively Ben Rich said that the way these crafts work, these crafts that he's quoted as saying, like, we can take E.T. home to the stars, or we can travel among the stars, I think was one of his quotes, is through some kind of psychic power, some kind of like mind interface with the vehicle. So, and that's consistent with some more fringier reports from, whistleblowers and whatnot over the years. And I don't know that that's exactly what it is or not, but given, Neuralink with Elon Musk, given the brain damage conversation here with the Havana syndrome and the UFO and all that stuff coming up, it seems like, I guess people paying attention have a little bit better or clearer picture of what the military, our secret government, black projects, whatever, all the stuff that's unknown, what they're up to and what they might be planning. So Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is alien, I think this is just really, really advanced technology that's in the hands of somebody here. And perhaps their inspiration came from something beyond. But in terms of having it be used for good of humanity, I don't think that's going to happen quite yet. But anyway, there you go.
Speaking of the good of humanity, Gonz, I think we need to play our extravaganza of Sunday jingles that have been so lovingly and expertly crafted for us for just this occasion.
Yeah. I was going to do a little thing here, but yeah, there's a bunch. Our producers came through.
You can do a thing.
I can do a thing. The producers came through. We're going to just roll through these.
Let's do it.
It's a Sunday.
Sunday school special.
Sunday.
Bruh.
It's a Sunday.
Sunday.
Oh, it's like a remix.
Bruh.
Sunday.
Sunday jingle. Emergency jingle. Sunday jingle. Emergency jingle. Bag boy Lear. Think outside the rave.
L.
Okay. Think outside the rave. News score. Okay. Banonkers.
Woo.
Jeez,
It was
Louise.
bonkers.
That was bonkers. My gosh. The dubstep has taken over our minds. Was that all of them? I thought there was one more too.
Well, that's 4. I mean,
That's 4? That was
from
4.
3
Okay.
different producers. So, yeah.
Well, if another one pops up, we'll play that one later on in the show. And yes, thank you, audio producers, for answering the call. Again, we had, man, it was a blast seeing these things float in. And who knows, we may literally never do another Sunday show again. But if we do, we are prepared.
Yes.
And that's right. It's Sunday. It's the weekend. It's Palm Sunday. So that's something. And Gonz, anything personal you want to get out of the way before we jump into it?
Yeah. So we got asked to live stream here, on a Sunday after the No Agenda show, which is a great honor. I think this is really cool. And, if you're a No Agenda listener and you're here for the first time, welcome. We're obviously inspired by Adam and John in terms of the value for value model and everything else. And it's worked for us. But, preparing for the show, knowing that we're going to go live on a Sunday, which is completely out of the rhythm of life for me, I had to get everything ready. On a Thursday, I started kind of prepping, doing some light show prep stuff. And Thursday, I don't know if you know this, Basil, out in California, we had these crazy heat waves just over the last few days. And it's gotten right back to the cool weather. But it was like close to 100 degrees one of the days. So I was like, I'm going to take the kids to the pool. So I took the kids, a 1-year-old and 5-year-old. I go to the pool. There's a bunch of people. I walk into the pool, and I got the 2 kids on me. And about a minute in, I'm like, did I take my phone out of my pocket? And I reached down into my horror.
Oh,
and
no.
My phone is in my pocket and all my wallet and everything. And I'm like, no. So the phone died. I had to get a new phone. And the new phone doesn't, I needed like an upgraded security of Wi-Fi at home. So I tried to upgrade that. And that broke the Wi-Fi at home. So I've left my family at home while I do this with no internet connection, which I'm sure my wife appreciates.
Oh, no.
So
How will they survive,
How will they
Gonzo?
survive? A few hours without the internet. So anyway, it was amazing the amount of technology that broke down just to do regular things like email, message you about stuff like everything was hard, which is, it was kind of nice. I was like, hey, this is kind of what it used to be like before all these gadgets everywhere. So it's a good reminder.
It took like a whole day for me to look at we do most of our messaging over encryption, and I was looking at our messaging application, and I was like, why is he not answering me? What in the world could this man have going on in his life that is more important than answering my questions? And it took me a second, but I realized that they weren't even being delivered. That's when I knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he's finally gotten black bagged. They're coming for me next.
They finally got me. No, but it was
his mouth shut.
I know, but it was tough, but also, we're here, we're doing it. It's all good. So good to go.
Yeah, it's fun. And yeah, one more time, I do want to give a big howdy do to all the No Agenda folks over at the Troll Room. We're excited to be here. We hope you like the show. And yes, you will notice that there just a little bit of background, I guess, in case anybody doesn't know who we are, what we do. We started podcasting in 2012 with a show called Canary Cry Radio. Canary Cry Radio was a interview style show / we wanted so badly to be like Radio Lab. And so we did some very high production value things for many years. And then in 2016, we started this show, Canary Cry News Talk, simply as a practice in being consistent. Because we thought, my gosh, we had gotten really bad at staying on schedule for Canary Cry Radio. And so we're like, okay, we're going to make a show. We're going to do a half hour a week. And we're just going to do it at the same time. We're going to practice actually being professionals. And we did. And then we did that for 4 years. And then the pandemic hit and we had nothing better to do. So we now do this show 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We live broadcast on all major platforms, but we're also a podcast. So we're primarily a podcast, but you can follow us over on whatever podcast player you want. We are working diligently to try to get fully connected to the podcasting 2.0 thing. And we just lifted the value for value model straight out of our best friends, Adam and John's minds. Oh, yeah. And we appreciate
our bestest friends. You're right. Yeah. They're best friends in our minds.
Yeah, it's podcasting. Your podcasters are your best friends.
Yeah, it's community. Yeah. It's fraternity.
So yes, Adam and John are our longtime best friends. We actually did tweet or email or something at him just to make sure that we could steal the whole format, and we did. And I believe
Adam
we did get permission to it.
He told us, just do everything.
Why are you emailing me? Do whatever you want. I do not care. So, yep, that's what we do now. And we enjoy it very much. Value for value is the way to go. It's the only way we've been able to continue at this breakneck pace. And because we're on the value for value model, I just want to take a second here at the top of the show to thank some of our executive producers.
Executive producers.
That's right. These are folks who come on in with their generosity and their commitment to keeping independent media truly independent. No corporate money here, folks. But you know how it is. No advertisements, affiliate codes, partnerships, nothing. Because once you get that corporate money involved, corporate incentives follow or close behind. And here's a couple of our executive producers for this episode 469 of Canary Cry News Talk, starting with executive producer Austin D.
Austin D, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Austin D. And our second executive producer is producer Bush Protector.
Bush Protector. Good to see you.
Yes, he's still protecting those bushes, man.
Still, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. There's still time if you want to become an executive producer or just produce in any amount that you'd like. Remember, independent media has a target on its back, and sometimes it's not about destroying independent media, although a lot of times it is. But it's another very popular and effective way to control the narrative, even in quote unquote independent media, is to get them hooked on that sweet, sweet ad money, baby. And we don't want to do that. Just doesn't seem right for us to, partner with the lizard people and consider you, dear listener, a commodity for us to collect as much as we can, package your mind and your trust and your attention up, and sell it off to the lizards for our own personal gain. So if you want to participate, keep independent media strong, go to CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
Can we thank our executive producers here real quick, and then we'll get back to the show here.
Where'd you find this?
All right. And
now, advertising is not the only way, Gonz. Oh, did you have a segue?
No,
your segue.
No, go. You do your segue.
Right. Yeah, well,
it's your beat, man.
Oh my gosh, let me beat, man. Advertising is not the only way that the lizard people are trying to enslave our minds and our bodies, but indeed our best friend Flippy as well.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
I don't fully know what I just said, but if you don't know, Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, and just how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from DallasNews.com. That's the Dallas Morning News, getting some local flair here, Gonz. And the Dallas Morning News headline reports a 7-foot-tall robot at Dallas Love Field is watching for unmasked travelers and curbside loiterers. Ooh.
Curbside loiterers is really the. I like the way they it's an equal.
Both criminals. Yes,
criminals and curbside loiterers equal in criminality. Yeah,
malcontents. Though they need to be erased. By the way, if we can make a note, maybe chat, if you could remind me, loitering. I need to be reminded about loitering sometime during this show. I don't know when. But
like
if
you
just
loitering somewhere, is that?
No, loitering shows up in another article.
Oh, okay.
And it's just kind of weird. It's weird that this loitering theme came out of nowhere. But anyways, back to Flippy here. And it goes like this. Yes, those 7-foot-tall machines at Dallas Love Field are watching you. Oh, do you ever feel like you're being watched, Gonz?
Yeah.
They want to make sure you're wearing a mask if you're boarding a flight, or not parking too long at the curb if you're picking up a returning traveler. Love Field is testing out 2 security control observation towers at the airport. Security control Scott. Not as marketable as Flippy, but okay. One near baggage claim and another near security checkpoints to figure out whether robotic assistants can both help customers get around and warn passengers who are breaking rules. The robots can also airport security and operations in case for more help is needed. What? They forgot a word in this, I think. The robots can also airport security and operations.
Yeah, maybe they can fly.
Maybe they can also airport security. While not a RoboCop, the machines, nicknamed Scott, were installed about a month ago, quote, to determine if they are capable of efficiently supplementing current airport operations, said Love Field spokeswoman Lauren Rounds. Lauren Rounds. It's almost dystopian how generic that statement was. Determine if they are capable of efficiently supplementing current airport operations. The robots look like any other kiosk at the airport, with a touchscreen with a wayfinding information, maps of parking garages, and directions to ride hailing and shuttle pickup.
Oh, see, they're so helpful.
I love it. They're camouflaged, like like a tree frog in the Amazon who pretends to be something it's not. These robots just look like any other kiosk, any other innocent kiosk, luring in their victims who are lost and need help finding a bathroom or something. But no, these ones are watching you. But Scott is much smarter, capable of detecting what people are wearing and even whether they've got a face mask. What are you wearing? Airports have been at the forefront of technology, including facial recognition and other biometrics for years, a trend that worries privacy advocates and say there are few, if any, laws or guidelines about emerging technology should be used. Amazon took criticism, don't care about that. So that's the long story short. And it is a very long story. It continues. But what really struck me about Scott here is a bad name for a robot. I don't like the name. I think the camouflage thing is interesting. It's disguised as a kiosk to blend in to things that we are already used to seeing at airports. But I think there's something very unsettling about airports being the sort of first deployment of Scott, because we've throughout the pandemic, throughout the past couple of years, of course, any sort of free-thinking, sane person can draw connections between, never let a good crisis go to waste. You talk about 9/11 and how that was used as an excuse to invade our privacy and put on some sort of security theater and make us take off our shoes and things like this. Mainly in the airports. Well, COVID did the exact same thing. And the fact that they are putting them in the airports, first of all, just as a millennial who came of age around 9/11, I don't know about came of age. What was I? I must have been like 12 or something. But really first started to understand the world around me at around 2001. And what a time for that to happen. The fact that the airport is the prime target for these things, it's like they're replaying the same script, Now, of course, airports are very heavily monitored anyways, and this robot is fairly harmless, although, when they make something look like a kiosk to lure you in, it's like a Venus flytrap, man. You never know when it's gonna strike and get you, even if that is just sort of surreptitiously scanning your eyeballs or printing out a ticket for not wearing your mask. But the fact that the airports are federally sort of regulated makes them a perfect place to expand the panopticon and let it grow, let it go to seed and spread from there.
Yep. I don't have anything to add other than a couple jingles.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
That's right, folks. That's your Flippy update for the day. Again, not the most, exciting apocalyptic robot march towards destruction, but sometimes predators, they do not come knocking on your door with a big metal hand coming to purge you. Sometimes they're hiding where you least expect it, like in a kiosk. So stay frosty, folks. That's your Flippy update for the day.
Man, we've looked at a lot of tower-looking, large robots. This one doesn't dispense food. That was the other one we saw, the fast food. But everything. We're gonna move towards this economy of like everything in a robot box. Like literally everything.
Which
is interesting.
You're right. The trend of that has been interesting to watch because it's not very interesting. And I think that's the danger of it.
Yeah. It's
when
boring.
You get a robot
story,
and it's got moving arms and it has a little human face and it's very impressive and they show it off at, conventions or whatever. And you think, oh, that robot's going to kill me someday. The fact that they're moving towards making these robots so boring and so uninteresting to look at, I think is a big step in the takeover. Yeah. You probably wouldn't even know that this kiosk is a robot like policing you until it's too late. And I think that's kind of the danger of the trend. And And, you know, in a way, everything around us is already a robot. I mean, you think about your phone and your toaster and your Wi-Fi connected refrigerator. Your favorite podcaster is a robot, you know,
I don't
stuff
think my
like
wife
that.
would appreciate calling her a robot, but yeah.
Did you call your wife a robot?
No, I'm saying she wouldn't appreciate that.
Oh,
all the robots all around us, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could name some more things your wife wouldn't appreciate you calling her. Is that the game we're playing now?
No.
It's a new segment on the show.
Flippy closer.
Flippy 1133. Uploading binary code. Execute order 666. Infiltrate humans with extreme kindness. Then exterminate all humans with prejudice. Exterminate.
Go to CanaryCry.Party. Put it in your URL. Search for it. You'll find the live stream. You'll find clips. You'll find an email list, text notifications, street team posters, show notes, and all the ways you can connect with other Canarians and become a producer. Woo!
That's right. Go check it out. All sorts of fun stuff over there. I do want to take the opportunity. Go check out Ravel. Ravel is another podcast that I do. I started with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates. And as we're forced to call him now, Dr. Daddy Christopher Ryan Gates, where we explore society, scripture, and scandal, talking about all sorts of dangerous things when it comes to the Bible and Christianity, what's Christianity in its sort of ideal form and how it expresses itself in real life. A very interesting podcast. I'm very proud of it. There will be another episode coming out today, probably after this show, because I forgot to post it in the morning. But you can find it on all your podcast players. Go check it out. The most recent episode, yes, with comedian, writer, friend, Elliot Morgan. Very, very good conversation about comedy and show business, but not in like the lame way that you've heard before. Very cool. Very cool. As it relates to God and spirituality and different principalities and powers. Good stuff. Go check out Ravel. Of course, you already know this. There are 2 podcasts named Ravel. The other one stole our name straight up explicitly. They put it in writing. And so you'll find mine with the cool logo, not the bad logo. And I don't mean to say that. Their logo's fine, but mine is better. And it's got my name on it. So go check it out. Ravel on your podcast players. And while we're at it, head on over to YouTube and or Odyssey and search for Canary Cry Clips. That's right, Canary Cry Clips YouTube channel and Odyssey channel, chock-a-block full of clips of the show. Thank you to our clip producers who are hard at work putting up new clips of the show literally every day. They're very impressive people, and we are grateful for them. It's a great way to get small, bite-sized, shareable pieces of the show without having to sit through, a 4-hour episode. So go check it out, Canary Cry Clips. And last but not least, join our text message alert system. You're probably not getting notifications. You're probably missing a lot of shows. You're probably just lonely and you want to get a text from me 3 times a week. You can do that. Text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. 877-740-3226. Text Canary and we'll put you on the list, and I'll text you a few times a week and you'll never miss a show. It'll be great. Okay, that's it.
All right. Well, we did have something planned, but I just realized that the article that I had planned to read is much, much older than I thought it was, which is my bad. No. Yeah, this is really bad. So we'll go ahead and do POLYTICK, but I was going to maybe move the mommy mushrooms up as well, if you're up for that.
You want to do them now?
Well, let me do the Stelter thing, and then we'll go into the other one. So let's start with the POLYTICK here.
Poly. It's Latin for many. Tick. Now suck your blood. Now suck
Politics.
Your blood.
Politics. All right, we're getting this from Daily Caller, And the headline is CNN pushed the Russian collusion hoax. Student confronts Brian Stelter during conference. And,
yes.
Yeah, did you see the clip that was viral?
I've heard all about it. I have not actually watched it.
Yeah.
So, I saw screenshots.
No Agenda did cover it earlier today, if you're listening live. But just to get an idea here, a University of Chicago freshman confronted CNN Brian Stelter about the outlet's involvement in pushing disinformation during a conference Wednesday. Christopher Phillip lodged a question to Stelter during the university's Disinformation and the Erosion of Democracy conference. Ooh. That would have been a fun one to go to, huh? Disinformation.
Yeah, it sounds like a real blast.
I mean, are they saying, is Stelter saying he's the one providing disinformation in the erosion of democracy?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Okay, well then it's titled accurately. It's a good name for a thing that Brian Stelter's talking at.
Yeah.
So it goes into the clip. Let me actually just play it. It's 2 minutes long. Do you want to play the whole thing? I think it's worth.
Yeah, it's fine. I want to hear it. Yeah.
Because Brian Stelter does sort of answer something interesting, and I think surprisingly, I think it's important to sort of listen to what he said here. So.
Hi, thank you for coming. My name is Chris.
What's that?
It might be the first time ever that it's important to hear what he says.
Well, I don't know that it's important, but it is at least interesting. Here we go.
Okay.
Hi, thank you for coming. My name is Christopher Phillips. I'm a first year at the college. My question's for Mr. Stelter. You've all spoken extensively about Fox News being a purveyor of disinformation, but CNN is right up there with them. They pushed the Russian collusion hoax. They pushed the Jussie Smollett hoax. They smeared Justice Kavanaugh as a rapist, and they also smeared Nick Sandmann as a white supremacist. And yes, they dismissed the Hunter Biden laptop affair as pure Russian disinformation. With mainstream corporate journalists becoming little more than apologists and cheerleaders for the regime, is it time to finally declare that the canon of journalistic ethics is dead or no longer operative? All the mistakes of the mainstream media, and CNN in particular, seem to magically all go in one direction. Are we expected to believe that this is all just some sort of random coincidence, or is there something else behind it?
It's too bad. It's time for lunch.
You have 30 seconds.
No, I mean, there's a clock that says 30 seconds. But I think my honest answer to you, and I'll come over and talk in more detail after this, is that I think you're describing a different channel than the one that I watch. But I understand that is a popular right-wing narrative about CNN. I think it's important when we talk about shared reality and democracy, all these networks, all these news outlets have to defend democracy. And when they screw up, admit it. But when Benjamin Hall, the Fox correspondent, was wounded in Ukraine, the news crews at CNN and the New York Times stopped what they were doing, and they tried to help. They tried to help him get out of the country. They tried to find the dead crew members. That's what news outlets do. That's how they actually do work together, to your question about sharing those kinds of connections and trust. We don't talk about it enough, though. We don't share that reality about how that happens. And with regards to the regime, I think you mean the President Biden. The last time I spoke with a Biden aide, we yelled at each other. So that's the reality of the news business that people don't see, that people don't hear. They imagine that it's a situation that simply is not. But I think your question, it speaks to the failure of journalism to show our work and show the reality of how our profession operates. We have a lot of work to do, I think.
So there you go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So what's been the response?
Well, obviously it's not been a good response publicly.
I mean, this is a ridiculous. I mean, this was expertly done, I will say.
Yeah,
this was. Did a good job, I don't know. I don't know if he had this planned or if he had been thinking about this or what. I don't know what it is, but it was excellently done because it didn't answer the question, and it didn't answer anybody's question. It was a talking point. It was literally the act of creating a narrative that is unfalsifiable. I mean, I don't even know if it is unfalsifiable. It may very well be falsifiable. But, the question is like, what kind of responsibility do you take because of your own fake news participation or whatever? Right. And he goes into like, when a Fox guy was in trouble, we band together. The red phone of news guys went off, and I answered the call, and I got him out of there. And we went on I suited up and booted up, and glided over to Ukraine to get the body, bring him back. Okay, Brian.
Yeah. So here's my response to this. When I hear him talk about this, obviously I agree with you on all that. I think it's interesting that he went to like the most recent thing with the Ukraine situation, because it was the first time in a while, at least in the US, that we saw any kind of solidarity between news agencies where they were like, oh no, we need to stop this infighting. And Biden even announced it. Remember, he's like, no more fighting about COVID and blah, blah, blah. We need to, blah. And that was right about the time Ukraine became an issue. So I think part of the whole New World Order agenda is to sort of divide then unite. It's divide and conquer, divide for a while, but then when we unite, we can unite stronger and that kind of thing. And there's a purpose outside of the US to do that. So there's it's a good out for Stelter. But the other thing is, he brought up like the personal sort of experience of like, oh, well, this is what we do. And, behind the scenes, it's not what people think and all that. Well, it's like, yeah, of course, like we're not, and I think this is part of the issue in talking past one another a lot of times in these situations where these guys, they think they're getting like personally attacked when, of course, there's personal responsibility as, talking heads, I guess.
I mean, you're a public figure.
You're a public figure, of course.
You're allowed to be talked about.
But I don't think you can become Brian Stelter if you don't have a very, very capable brain of compartmentalizing your day-to-day experience with what you're actually doing in terms of spewing the propaganda, of just speaking the talking points that are handed down from on high. Like, I don't think he can't possibly realize, or maybe he has moments of clarity, I don't know, but to him it's like I'm doing a very important work, and that delusion, I guess, of the news. But at least he said, we have a lot of work to do, which is like, yeah, because in the last 10 years there's this whole thing that has developed, this sort of journalism of the journalists, like keeping track of how honest these journalists all over the world are being. And clearly when that magnifying glass was put upon journalists in the last few years, it's been like, wow, this is really out of control. And, it has a lot to do with the Smith-Mund Act, and there's all sorts of reasons for that. But it goes to show, I think it showed the vulnerability of someone like Brian Stelter in the sense of like him admitting, and this is not him like openly admitting, but with his words, he's basically saying, yeah, I don't really know like how this all works. Like, I'm just working hard. Like, I don't really know everything I don't understand that I'm a propaganda piece, like almost unaware of this reality that he is a pusher of a narrative. And so I don't know. To me, it was an admission.
No, that's a great point, because, when we talk about the lizard people and the New World Order and the Illuminati and the mainstream news and the this and the that, it's, one of the main defenses, and we saw this when we saw the mainstream news trying to talk about this term New World Order, and it was infuriating because all they ever wanted to do was like, the New World Order, it's not like everybody getting together and having a plan and agreeing and worshiping the devil.
They actually do that, like multiple times in multiple places over multiple years. But okay, all right.
But it's not in the exact way that they want you to think you think.
Right?
Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they just twist it just enough to say that it isn't something that sounds. It sounds reasonable. And it's kind of what he's saying here. Like, he's talking about how, we're just humans trying to do a really good work, and we gotta do better, and we don't watch the same channel, man. And it's like, well, we really don't need you to show us what your job is like.
Right.
Because that's called propaganda, Brian. That is pretty much the exact definition of propaganda. I don't want you to tell me what your day is like. I want to see what your day is like, outside of your twisty-turvy propaganda, rhetorical, tomfoolery. So anyways, I mean, of course he says this, doesn't answer the question, but goes back to the storyline of like how virtuous news people are and how good they are at being good human beings. Those are the news guys I know. Okay, dude. I mean, literally every piece of evidence counts towards the contrary. But okay,
he knows.
I think he is brainwashed. Like I don't think he knows how silly he looks.
That's what I'm saying. All he knows is propaganda. Like even what he said there about the journalists is propaganda for the journalists. It's just
right.
He doesn't know anything but to sort of put a facade on the reality.
And
of
again,
things.
He didn't answer anybody's question. Nobody asked,
not surprising.
"Hey, Brian, are you good guys? Are you
a good person?
Are you a good person? Do you care about people dying?" Like that wasn't the question. So, anyways, that's fun times, Brian.
Times.
Thank you.
So,
all right.
Fully audible. Let's do some pharmakia.
Okay.
I will appreciate any psychedelic mushrooms.
And I saw these aliens doing LSD for the 100th time.
Whoa, bro. Been a while, and just love the magic of editing there. Let's, I've been wanting to bring this to the show for a couple of episodes now, and it just never quite fit. And apparently it doesn't quite fit in this one either, but we're going to do it.
We made it happen.
So this is coming from moms.com.
It's only appropriate that we go from Brian Stelter to mushrooms. It's a very common
and
theme
moms.
There. And moms, lots of angles.
Okay, so we're talking about shrooms here, and of course we've been we like to visit the idea of drugs, or as it's more sort of commonly, or its common biblical connection, the term pharmakia. Did you want to give maybe like a little in a second?
Actually
you wanted a second to like gather your thoughts?
Yeah, it'll take me just a second to pull up Revelations.
All right, so we do like to talk about this because it is, it's a very important sort of part of being a human, is the idea that there are things or substances that are in our world that change the experience of being a human. And that could go, and as far as pharmakia is concerned, which Gonz will tell us real soon, it could be a lot of things. That counts for a lot of things. Could be aspirin, could be psychedelic mushrooms, could be all sorts of things. And navigating that is one thing, but tracking, analyzing, and deconstructing just how fluent the mainstream, not even the mainstream, how fluent the elites are in their social engineering, how it can be used, how these things can be used for control, how they, where they pop up, how they're viewed, and what the experience is. With society and the spiritual world.
Right.
So there you go. Did I stall enough for you?
Yep, you're good. So the short version of it is in Revelation 18 in the Bible, the last book there. If you go down to the whole chapter is about Mystery Babylon. Actually, chapters 17 and 18 are both about Mystery Babylon, which in my studies, I've currently come to the conclusion that Mystery Babylon is an eschatological Jerusalem. I think the work of Chris White has definitively shown that to be true, but it's not a very popular view for a lot of people, but it's something that's in there. And part of it, the merchants of the world get very, very wealthy off of Mystery Babylon, and we see the destruction of Mystery Babylon. And part of the Revelation 18 is these, is sort of like the decree of the destruction. And in verse 23, it says this: "The light of a lamp will never shine in you again, and the voice of the bride and bridegroom will never call out to you again. For your merchants were the great ones of the earth, because all the nations were deceived by your sorcery." Your sorcery. So these merchants of the world deceived the entire world with sorcery, and that word sorcery is pharmakia, the root word for pharmacy. So that's where you talk about big pharma, you talk about all this stuff. This is where some of the original ideas come from. So that's kind of the short version.
The the power that the merchants of the world and their sorcery has had over us. I mean, the past 2 years being just the most incredible, poignant example with, all the big pharma companies influencing policy, international relations, all revolving around vaccine manufacturing, and of course the mandates and the this and the that and the that. It really was this incredible time where you had the merchants of the world, the corporations, using their pharmakia, their sorcery.
Their sorcery. In many ways, many levels of sorcery.
To control everything and everyone. And there you go. That's kind of the basic rundown. Thank you for that.
Just earlier in the chapter, in verse 13, it talks about how they traded, they got wealthy off trading all sorts of stuff. And it also mentions trading slaves and souls of men. So that's, they're trading on people.
Yeah, which
they're trafficking.
I don't know, man. It's got weird connections to this control mechanism that we've been put under for a couple of years.
Together.
Yeah, but this isn't about that. This is about another kind of pharmakia. This is coming from moms.com. And man, we lost our mom jingle. We couldn't find it. So if anybody knows where it is out there, we need a mom jingle again. And the headline here, exploring the new mom trend. Shroom moms. Shroom moms, Gonz. Why are moms turning to mushrooms? We explore this coping mechanism.
Funny. I'm just checking out the NA stream here. There's a troll in there. Questioning if you or I have ever done mushrooms because we're conflating it with pharmakia. So anyway,
because we're conflating it with pharmakia,
we're saying big pharma poison and magic mushrooms is, being conflated. So
we're certainly not conflating those things. No. They are two different things. So yes, sorry for the misunderstanding. But pharmakia being more of a spiritual force, a spiritual concept that has all sorts of things under it, not just vaccines and mushrooms, but Advil and beer and things like that. It's sort of all falls under a big broad category of pharmakia. So, exploring the new mom trend, shroom moms. There are always parenting trends that occur, and they can differ based on where someone lives and what the culture of that environment is. There are also moms who use different vices to help them cope with motherhood in all its highs and lows. Some moms are known as wine moms. Some are cannabis moms. And as time goes on, more moms are coming out of the hyperbole closet to unveil something that they claim makes them a better parent for their children. One of the biggest downfalls that moms will notice is that there can be a lot of stigma and judgment associated with vices, and some feel like they have to be silent. I think it's interesting. They keep coming back to this word vices through this whole thing, which when I think of mushrooms or like somebody who does mushrooms, I don't know if vice is really the first thing that comes to mind.
Well,
does that do anything for you?
Maybe for the general public.
Maybe. I mean, a vice seems to be something that like is a habit or repeated or something that has a grip on you on a day-to-day basis. I'm not sure a whole lot of people have to like take mushrooms just to get out of bed in the morning, but who knows? It could be fun. Moms will always face judgment. It seems to be inevitable, but a mom's vice is going to be put under the microscope and examined by every other person. While this judgment can be incredibly instinctual, it is often born out of a place of innocent ignorance. That means that moms don't understand how a vice works. That means that moms don't understand how a vice works and why a mom turns to it. Understanding and becoming educated are the best ways to battle judgments and show some empathy to moms.
Yeah, see, this is one of the latest. It feels like shrooms is sort of the side topic.
They are using it as a frame around, setting mommies free from the social pressures or something. One of the latest parenting trends is shroom moms, and it is exactly what it sounds like. Moms using mushrooms, and not the kind you put on pizza. Oh, nice. This is something, I'm pretty sure you could put these on pizza if you wanted. This is something that is growing in popularity, so we thought we would take a deeper look at it. What are mushrooms? It says. I'm going to skip that part. We all know what mushrooms are. Why are moms using them? The deeper question is to ask what? The deeper question to ask is why moms are using them. According to Psychedelic Spotlight, there are many reasons why mom may turn to mushrooms to cope with parenting. If taken in a microdose amount, it can help mom cope with any depression and anxiety that she may be feeling. It can also help mothers connect deeper with their children, and it helps them to be a gentler and more sympathetic parent. What do you think, Gonz? You think your mother would have
benefited from shrooms?
Mushrooms? Yeah.
Yes and no. Yes, in the immediate short term, it would have been, hey, my mom's chill. She's chilling. She's chilling. But in the long term, I think, I'll realize, hey, well, my mom didn't really mom, My
mom was on shrooms a lot.
She was not around to feed me, but she was dancing all the time.
One mother, she's a great dancer. One mother explained her, Gonz, that is so inappropriate, okay? We're breaking the stigma of mothers and their vices. One mother explained her experience and said that mushrooms saved her life. Ooh. And they helped her cope when postpartum made her depression incredibly worse. And when she got to the point where she was having thoughts of harming her baby, she ended up taking a microdose every other day for a month, a 100 milligram mushroom pill, and it helped her postpartum depression and saved her mental health while never putting her child in danger. According to Insider, many studies, almost done here, have been done that have shown that taking a microdose of mushrooms can benefit mental health and symptoms like depression and anxiety. However, many may want to be aware of the risks. While studies are ongoing, there has not been enough done yet to be sure of the long-term risks. This is something that moms may want to take in mind before going down this route. There is also the problem that it presents very differently based on different people. Talking about the mushrooms, how they affect you.
Yeah.
And this can be concerning for a mom. The studies confirm that microdosing does not cause hallucinations or other effects that would interfere with the everyday life of a mother. End of article.
Okay. All right. Well,
now, this was actually an alternative article I had to find because the original report was in Harper's Bazaar, which is, I have never seen an outlet so locked down in an impenetrable cyber fortress.
No, this was part of the reason why
bring it to the show.
We didn't bring it earlier or sooner, a few episodes ago, is because you sent me the story, and I'm searching all over for it. And I'm like, okay, I see the Bazaar, Mommy's Who Mushroom, this whole, even the authors and everything, and it just could not be found.
It does not even,
Apple
it's so locked down. You can't, it's not like you can Google it and find it and then, pay for it even. You have to go, it is so locked down in the Apple News infrastructure.
Paywall, yeah.
Anyways, yeah. It's not even it's something
I think
more
it is a
than
paywall,
that.
Isn't it? Well,
it is. You have to pay, but usually you can get past paywalls. This is
not this
in
one.
Its own locked
it's fortress.
Anyways, back to the thing. But so that article is much more thorough and told a few stories, kind of like this one told this one story. And, I don't like this. The point of this is not to get into should moms do shrooms or not?
Right.
Because that's kind of the least interesting part of the conversation that could be had about this. What I find most interesting is that, of course, psychedelics have exploded in popularity. I don't think it would surprise anybody, or anybody would disagree with me if I said I think it must have something to do with sort of an anti-corporate vibe that is seeping throughout all levels and classes of society. We saw this again with the vaccine conversations. It wasn't just one group of people who had a strong opinion about pharmaceutical companies getting the amount of power that they had. And I think in the same way, the shroom movement, the shroom trend or whatever, as it makes it sort of deeper and deeper into more prevalence in mainstream, mostly like culture, not so much news like this, but books and TV shows and Netflix shows. There's just that I forgot what it was called, Nine Perfect Strangers, about everybody doing mushrooms on a retreat, as well as an explosion of science behind it that has never really happened before. You have the decriminalization of mushrooms in a few
all kinds of drugs
places. Too, yeah, sure. And just a general acceptance. I mean, I don't know about you, Gonz, but some of the groups that I associate myself with, whether it be for work or friends or friends of friends or whatever, it just generally seems like mushrooms are sort of on the level of like cannabis, as far as
I think the cannabis is the roadmap. Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing. I've noticed the trend also. This also started with the cannabis the investing. A lot of people started investing, and once it got more legalized. There's an article by Motley Fool that's outlining 6 best psychedelic stocks.
Yep.
And Atai Life Sciences is number 1, $860 million market cap. And they're developing, multiple drugs based on psychedelic substances, including ketamine. Number 2.
And I believe Pfizer just acquired a company that is working on that too.
Right. Yeah. So the Compass Pathways is the one working with psilocybin, and they're a $500 million company right now. So this is big bucks with the with psychedelic treatment and that sort of thing happening.
And you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
That it is, I think, the reason that the social engineering has sort of allowed that there's this movement towards destigmatizing psychedelics, specifically mushrooms, I would say is the most common. But there's also ketamine therapy, which is not technically a psychedelic, but it's, in high doses, it basically is. It achieves the same results. It's a horse tranquilizer. There's also MDMA, which is on the cusp of clinical use, and mushrooms also being there. Now, the social engineering aspect of this, I think, is directly connected to the permission being given by the economic powers of the world.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I'm not going to say
you're
any
not going to get
greenlit
all these millions of dollars, potentially billions, and multiplied because how big is the market here for this type of development? Probably not that big yet.
Not yet. I mean, there are a bunch of psychedelic companies who, of course, can't put out any products. Is the fun thing. So the writing's on the wall, and
what pandemic is it gonna? Are they going to unleash so that Cybin, the $148 million company who've never had a product, can finally let loose their psilocybin therapy pill?
I got you. Are you ready? So we're getting all this positive media attention for the mental health benefits. You have huge, powerful pharma corporations getting ready, poisoning themselves to create products, put products on the market. And what was the truly the most horrific stats that came out of the pandemic? It was not cases or hospitalizations or sadly even deaths. It was the mental health ramifications, the mental health pandemic. And the fun part about it is the mental health pandemic did not come across because COVID existed. The mental health pandemic is directly connected to tyrannical governments locking people inside, hiding their faces from other people. The psychological trauma that comes from never seeing somebody's face and walking around in a big store and nobody gets to look at each other, talk to each other. You got to stay 6 feet away. You got to be locked in your house. You're fed fear day by day, every single channel, alerts on your phone about an outbreak, the ever-increasing tentacles of the panopticon, not just watching you from your Amazon Alexa or your Ring doorbell or your street lamp or whatever, but also watching your sewer surveillance, your very waste you flush down the toilet is being watched in the name of safety or whatever. And yeah, the biggest, most horrible stats that came out of the pandemic were the mental health stats. Complete catastrophe when it comes to mental health, especially in children, and secondly, in parents. And so this is it, man. This is how they do it. Yeah. The mental health pandemic will be solved by the corporate backing of psilocybin. And I think it's too bad because I think that the benefits of, lots of things that are illegal, but including mushrooms, the studies show that there are benefits. It must be respected, must be used correctly, must be this, must be that. You can't be a teen running around in alleyways getting super high on mushrooms. Like, that's not what to do. But there's obvious benefits, especially in veterans, PTSD, people whose lives can be saved.
A lot of those people are already moving to do stuff like that anyway, to get their hands on stuff like mushrooms to cope.
Well, sure.
So it's a worthwhile
there's
place
huge
to study.
Underground. I've talked about my Marine guy, right? My Marine friend. He is a PTSD sufferer. Really kind of ruined his life, and told me about a secret underground sort of Marine network, and they all just help each other out with a lot of ways. But part of that is making available, those illegal like therapeutic things. And it is helping people. There is a way to abuse it. There's a way to not use it. And I think that the writing's on the wall that it's not going to be legal until the pharma companies can take it,
totally monopolize on it,
sort of monopolize it, probably, make it synthetic.
So
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this word or not, but bastardize it in a way.
So this reporting on this is not really even about mushrooms per se. It's more about how the establishment, the elite, use stuff like this, where they clearly see people in that realm anyway. They move in that direction culturally or out of necessity in some cases, and they want to capitalize. So they're gonna start, and it doesn't happen overnight. That's why we're seeing stories like this, probably to try to soften it, especially moms. You influence the moms, you're in.
That's what I'm saying. That's the base level there. Yeah. If you can influence the moms to destigmatize, to participate even, and I'm sure some of these moms are getting help that they haven't been able to get somewhere else. I'm sure of it. And that's where it starts. It starts with the moms and it trickles down, and that's a generational shift. That is not just, now it's okay to do shrooms or whatever. That's the children are involved. Not involved, but the children are passed down that attitude, and it's generational. That is a generational shift in society's ideas about these things, which I think a lot of people think is wonderful in a lot of ways. But the fact that it's all being done under the watchful eye and puppet strings of lizard people is something to really watch out for.
Yeah, and just keep an eye on Israel. They are very much ahead of the curve on all the psychedelics and
that's right.
Sort of the public use of it. So,
and I will say, Gonz, that just like mushrooms, you don't want corporate money involved. And that's why we're on the Valley for Valley model, and I think we should take a break.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
That's right. We're going to take a quick break, folks, but don't go anywhere because after the break, we got plenty of good stories. Remember, YouTube, you guys are going to be cut off. You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here at YouTube.
If you're a new listener, YouTube is already, this is like our, I don't know, third, fourth YouTube channel or something like that.
Yeah, we've lost over
I was going to say, I had a YouTube channel for 10 years. It had 250,000 subs, 47 million views. And Susan said I'm part of the medical misinformation and cyberbullying. So
yes, cyberbullying
she's
specifically.
Racist. She hates Asian people, is what she.
True. He's our resident person of color, and he got censored for his anti-establishment views. So that's right. So yes, YouTube viewers, find another location to watch. We got plenty of those over at CanaryCry.Party. And like I said, Gonz, no advertisements, no affiliate codes, no partnerships, no nothing, no corporate money whatsoever, baby. Because you don't want your independent news funded by the lizard people at the top wearing top hats and monocles. I mean, it's a cute idea, but it's not good for our brains, not good for our souls, not good for our perception of reality to have master magicians like Brian Stelter
who's
taking
wearing
a
makeup,
question.
By the way, clearly wearing makeup on stage.
Of course,
either that or he has
TV
incredible complexion.
Makeup. Yeah, well, just another reason you can't trust him, I'll tell you what. And that's why we don't do it. No corporate money whatsoever, because we don't want those greedy little corporate fingers telling us, pointing where we should go, what we can talk about, what we can't talk about. Really, the connection with that mechanism is something that has it's trapped so many lovely podcasters. Focusing on that advertising money. Once you're in, you can't get out, baby. And it, encourages us, dear listener, to consider you as a commodity. And you're not a commodity. You're a human being with fears and wants and loves and things like that. And perhaps even mushrooms. I don't know. So because of that, we're on the value for value model. We put out value. We do it 3 times a day, a week. Oh gosh, day.
3 times a week.
And if you
we do 4-hour shows 3 times a day. That's the way to do it.
If you get any value out of what we do, you put some value back in. It's your personal responsibility. It's all of our personal responsibility. Without it, independent media goes away forever. And that's why we like to thank our producers now. Remember, if you want to produce the show, you can go to patreon.com/CCNT, or even better, CanaryCryRadio.com/support. CanaryCryRadio.com/support. Yep, and we're starting out with our executive producers, Gonz.
Executive producers.
Like I said, these are the folks who came in hot to keep the show going. Remember, you can be one of these too, and we thank you very much. Starting out, Gonz, with our executive producer, Austin D.
Thank you, Austin D. Appreciate it.
That's right. Austin D comes in for $260.33 plus fees. Illuminatus. That's right. And a note here: want to help offset the short list of producers recently?
Yes.
Austin, thank you. May God bless you both for all your time and effort in strengthening the kingdom of our Lord Jesus Christ. Appreciate it very much, Austin D.
Thank you, Austin D.
And God bless you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Next up, we have executive. Give him his executive producer.
Right.
Where'd you find this?
Next up, we have executive producer Bush Protector.
Thank you, Bush Protector. Good to see you.
That's right. And Bush Protector comes in with a nice big round number and is an opportunity to let people know. We always lean towards anonymity around here. If you are okay with us reading your number, you make it some kind of funky number, just put 33 cents on there, make the number mean something. If you want us to keep it anonymous, just do a round regular number. And that's what Bush Protector did. Thank you very much, Bush Protector.
All right, let's do some did I give him the thing?
No.
Where'd you find this?
I'm flying, Gonz. Supply Drop. Go to CanaryCry.Supply.com where you can sign up to receive 4 free supply drops every year for our producers. We want to thank them for signing up to support the show in $33 a month. We couldn't do without them, especially these slow times. It's our monthly producers who have really saved our butts. And we have one new supply dropper, and that supply dropper is producer Lydia G.
Lydia G. Oops, sorry. That's the wrong button. This is it. Here we go, Lydia G.
That's right. And Lydia G signs up for $33 a month. Thank you very much. You are on the list to receive the goods.
All right.
All right, and that's all. That's all. We're waiting for the supply drop.
Waiting for the supply drop.
That's right. We got some more people to thank. Gonz, are you ready?
Ready to go.
Starting with Timothy H. Coming in Timothy H. With a fanny pack full of 7. 77. Thank you, Timothy H. And he sent simply a heart emoji.
Wow. Thank you. Appreciate that, Timothy H.
Next up, we've got a dame. It's Lady Night Little Wing.
Thank you, Lady Night Little Wing.
Lady Night Little Wing comes in with her monthly producership plus fees and a note that says, "Blessings, Canary fam. Much love from Lady Night Little Wing." Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Lady Night Little Wing.
Next up, we've got American Yeagle.
Whoa.
American Yeagle comes in for $33 plus fees. And we're starting out by giving this nice fella a demooching. Love it. Congratulations on the demooching there, American Yeagle. And he did send a note. It's kind of a long note, but I think it's nice. I'm going to just go through it. Hello, Basil and Gonz. I hail from the mountains of southeastern Kentucky. I have been listening for quite a few years now after discovering Gonz's Age of Deceit series. I absolutely love the show and listen as I drive most every night, as I am a Canary Cry trucker. Uh-oh, Gonz.
This is Rubber Ducky. What's your 1020? Over. Check you. We got us a convoy. Over.
Nice. You had it. You're a professional. I may not get to support as often as I would like, but I have sent some support along as y'all's show has become the only source that I listen to for the craziness of this world and the news that is within it. I wish you guys continued success and growth, and do have one question. I listen to audiobooks from time to time, as well as I know you guys stay extremely busy with preparing the show, but would like to know some of y'all's favorite authors to check out on the Christian fringe side of things, or just in general. If you would email a few or share it on the show sometimes to check out, I'd appreciate it. Would help a feller to keep his mind occupied out there trying to find the end to these white lines. God bless you both. That has another connotation considering our pharmakia conversation.
I was going to say,
I know what you mean there. Yeah. God bless you both, and I wish you guys continued success. Yee. Thank you.
Thank you
American Yeagle.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have a favorite author.
Yeah,
I mean, I would just plug our friends, really.
I know and not all of them do audiobooks either. You know, a lot of our folks are independent type of folks. I will say one of the books that, if you have time, check out on audio. I think it's on Audible. Is Atopia Chronicles. I talk about it all the time. It's by Matthew Mather, and I only say that because it's just another one of those books. It's a sci-fi type of thing with smarticle pills and. But it really shows what kind of problems we can run into with a type of metaverse future or a real player one type of thing. Right. But it's a lot more. I don't know. There's a big twist to it. It's a good. I don't know.
Is it
good
fiction?
Primer.
Is that a novel?
It's fiction.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fictional science fiction story. So that's something to check out.
I will plug the new Confessions of an Economic Hitman.
Yes, good
just
stuff.
Just because that's what I was most recently listening to.
Yeah, you love that.
Yeah, very important sort of basic knowledge for understanding what's going on.
Aspiring economic hitman Basil, reading all that he can.
You know
to take over countries and families.
There was definitely a part of me at one point in the book where I was like,
I can do this.
I could do this. Why does this guy get to do it? I could do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you listen more, and I don't know if I could do this. Thank you very much. Who was
American Eagle?
American Eagle.
Thank you.
Let's move on. Next up, we've got Sir Dylan, Knight of the Wailing Avian.
Oh,
here he is, one of our Canary Cry Knights of the Round Table, coming in for 3333. Illuminatus. Happy show day on No Agenda live stream. Basil and Gonz. NA listeners, I've been listening to B&G in various forms since 2014. CCNT gives such valuable deconstruction. I implore y'all to consider joining the CCNT fam. NA and CCNT, Sir Dylan, Knight of the Wailing Avian. Yes, he's got a place of honor in both
round tables.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Sir Dylan.
Which side is he more?
I'm happy to share. I'm happy to share, Sir Dylan.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. I was going to say he might be
until
spying.
The Great War. Until the war of No Agenda and Canary Cry finally comes to a head.
We have youth on our side.
That's true.
They have wisdom.
We've got youth and robots. All right. Thank you very much, Sir Dylan. Next up, we've got producer Morv, who is on a 74-episode streak.
And streaks are
streaks and streaks.
The number of episodes in a row that these producers have produced. So
yes,
74.
one of our creative twists on the No Agenda model. Yes, producer Morv coming in for 11:11.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I missed that one. Sorry about that.
Next up, we've got Kyle C. coming in with a nice round number. Appreciate it, Kyle C. He was our executive producer a few episodes back. Next up, we've got Sir JC, Knight of the Techno Squatch.
All right, thank you, Sir JC.
89 episodes in a row with the 1003.
1001. Amen.
And he's stuck in the time stream because his note says it's Friday, day.
It's Friday, day.
But it's not, so we'll just tease it. Yeah,
it's fun. Hope you both have a blessed weekend, my dudes. Yeah, so far so good. Thank you, Sir JC.
Thank you.
Next
Other
up,
than losing my phone in the pool.
Yeah, so blessed. We've got Sir Casey the Shield Knight on a 140 episode streak.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. That's the super streak.
He's the streak. That's right. You're the best thing on 2 feet, Sir Casey the Shield Knight. Thank you very much. Next up, we got Malik W.
Malik W.
He's back. Thanks, Malik. Next up, we've got LX Protocol V2, the producer bots, on a 17-episode streak.
17.
Coming in sevens and fees. Thank you, LX Protocol V2. Next, we've got Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, on a 130-episode streak.
130. Ooh,
yeah,
okay.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Hold on. Why isn't this playing? Oh, here we go.
Got something for him?
Yeah. Why isn't it going? Come on.
Yeah.
There we go.
Ricker.
Thank you so much.
He's only 3 away from becoming also another streak.
He's the next. Oh, then there will be 2 streaks.
There will be 2 the streaks. Yeah.
His note says, "Happy Sunday, everyone." Let's give him one of those Sunday jingles.
Okay, we'll give him
one of the short ones.
I'll give him a short one here.
It's Sunday.
Sunday. Bruh.
No, why is the bruh in there? What is... I don't understand why people do this to me. Thank you, Sir Scott.
Thank you, Sir Scott.
Next, that concludes our list of producers who came in the amount of 777 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We got a couple more to thank here.
Okay.
You know what? I forgot. I didn't put it on the list. But first streak sister, Veronica D, comes in on a 107-episode streak. That's right. And of course, we got the second streak sister. That's Gail M on a 106-episode streak.
Thank you so much.
Did I say the same streak for both of them? I think I did.
Yeah.
I'm terrified that I missed somebody. But there's nothing I can do about it. Just know if I missed you, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. But of course, we do have a couple of people. Runk Smash came in, which is not on the list.
Thank you, Runk Smash.
So thank you very much, Runk Smash. He's got to be on a streak. Let me find it real quick. 19 episodes in a row for Runk Smash.
All right.
And then last but not least, we got Sir James, Knight and Servant of the Lion of Judah on a 74-episode streak. There we go. That concludes our list of financial producers keeping this show alive. We appreciate you guys so much. And thank you for your patronage.
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
Ready for it.
I feel like
All right.
everybody's trying to mess with you.
They are. They do it just to mess with me, but it's okay. I'm on to you. Okay. Leave us a message. You can leave us a voice message over at CanaryCry.Newstalk.com. A little green tab on the right hand or the bottom part of the page, and you got 90 seconds, so make it count. Gonz, who's leaving us messages nowadays?
First up, we got Gabby L here.
Well, hello all. This is Gabby L. I just wanted to thank everyone who prayed for me last week after surviving unscathed from a car accident that 15 feet in the other direction off the mountain, I wouldn't be able to make this call. And the fun didn't stop there, but I do absolutely believe that only with your corporate prayers did I begin to see a complete turnaround to my situation within 24 hours of that request. Too many things to say here, really, and it's still very overwhelming to me, but in a good way. So when I saw today's scriptures posted in Canary Cry community, I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. I'll make the call. The scriptures posted by John Roy were Hebrews 13, verses 15 and 16. By him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to God continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. But to do good and to communicate, forget not, for such sacrifices God is well pleased. And I also want to add James 5, the effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. Again, so many thanks to all of you who took time to pray for me. I appreciate it, and I will see you around. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
wow.
Gabby L.
How wonderful is that? Thank you very much for your message, Gabby L. Love the scripture on the show. Love to hear the Canary Cry family coming together, if at least just to be there and pray for one another. And very lovely. Thank you, Gabby.
Thank you, Gabby. We got another message here from Rochelle.
Hello, my fellow Canarians. I have to speak out to all other calendar owners out there.
Canary Cry calendar.
Me, have been resting on our laurels, donating the $20.22 a month. It's not taxes. We know we're always broke. But expecting the show to carry on, we need to step up, my fellow feathers. Help the canary soar. Let's pick 1 or 2 other times per year to donate. Produce. Maybe on our birthdays. Listen, we can't let Basil and Gonz think we don't have their back. No. The value model must prove true. If not, we may never, ever laugh again while listening to this egregious news of our day. So, pick a day to donate, do it, and don't forget to submit your favorite scripture and psalms, and we'll make music. Thanks, guys. Keep the show going. We love you. I love you. You're great. Stay strong for Jesus.
Thanks, Rochelle.
Wow, that's very nice. Thank you very much, Rochelle. It's always nice to hear a message about people having our backs, and you guys have had our backs. So thank you very much.
Yeah, greatly appreciate it, especially all those producers who have been stepping up. Really helpful. Thank you, Rochelle. We got another one, a couple more here. We got one from Mr. Magoo.
Basil and Gonz. This is the good morning song that Magoo sings to his children. Magoo recommends, Gonz, that you also sing it to your kiddies, and Basil, you also sing it to your kitties. Good morning, good very, very morning, good very, very morning to you. Good morning, good very, very morning, good very, very morning to you. Good morning.
15 more seconds.
Very, very morning.
Can you do it?
Very morning
I can
to
do
you. Good morning to you.
Wow. Oh, jeez. I'm having flashbacks to the rooster.
Thank you, Magoo.
Thank you very much, Magoo. I don't know where you get this energy, but it's very impressive. And thanks for bringing it to the show.
All right. One more message from Mr. T.
Okay.
Hey, fool. Mr. T here. You haven't seen me in years, have you? But all of a sudden, I'm tweeting now. Last time I think I was relevant was way before tweeting. I don't even know what this is. But I got my second shot, Moderna. And Moderna sounds like MK Ultra, doesn't it, fool? Maybe they activated me again. Am I getting paid from somebody to try to be relevant, fool? Because I was once a big star, right, fool? If I thought I was dead.
Can't hold it together.
I guess I'm alive.
Come on, Mr. T.
I haven't seen anything from me for many years, fool. You tell me. I don't know. I thought I was dead. I haven't heard from Mr. T for many years. I looked in the mirror and said, "Who that? Fool? Who are you? I thought you were dead." Can you guys help me? I don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, I'm seeing myself everywhere now. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. T.
I'm not sure Mr. T knew what he was going to say when he called us.
Mr. T certainly tweeted out that he got his Moderna. He was telling everybody to get the booster shot over the weekend. So,
I did not,
out of nowhere.
I did not know that he had a Twitter. I'm here now. His most recent tweet is 2 Timothy 3:12, so he's dropping the scripture.
Oh, okay.
He also
Maybe
says
that's a psyop for the show.
I mean, something's going on. Being a Christian and serving God means fighting the good fight of faith daily, because you will come under constant attack from all angles. However, I've never seen the righteous forsaken. Never. # Saturday vibes. Okay, Mr. T. Okay, buddy. Just take it easy, all right? Interesting.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. Right. Well, it might be a sort of like anti-vaxxer Christian campaign.
That's what I'm saying, man. They did the whole evangelical psyop in the 40s, 50s, 60s, trying to round up all the Christians for war. You know, they might do the same thing for I don't know.
Interesting choice, though. Interesting choice. Mr. T. Okay.
Who does Mr. T appeal to in today's culture? It's got to be like boomers, right?
The millennials loved him in an ironic way.
Right. He's kind of a joke to us, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like a little bit of nostalgia, because he would pop up in cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons.
MASH reruns and stuff.
We were really young, so... Okay. I don't know. That must be it.
Yeah.
It's Christian millennials.
Yeah.
All right. That's all, right?
That's it.
Please? Okay,
yes.
Good. Look, I love the messages, and we're going to keep doing it. We might need to consider dialing down the time limit on those.
Yeah, we might have to cut it down to under
90
a minute.
seconds is kind of seems to be a lot.
Giving him a lot of room.
Not that I don't love it all. I do, but we got a show to run
the more we get, the shorter they have to be. So,
and the more we just sort of like meander around right now.
Yeah, like right now. It's time to wake up, Basil.
No, it's not. It's not yet.
No, it's not.
Not yet.
No.
I'm going to do a review real quick. I'm just going to get it out of the way.
All right, hold on. I'm not prepared at all for this review, so hold on. Here we go.
That's right. We're just going to do a quick little review. We only got one review this week, folks, which makes me very sad. So you don't get Uwu. Instead, you're going to get Gonz's grumpy uncle yelling at you right now.
Ugly, horrible person. You must leave review on iTunes. And if you do not, you are ugly, horrible person. You bring shame to family. Ugly, horrible person.
Yeah, let that be a lesson to you. Folks, you let me down. But not HB Funny. HB Funny came in from the US, 5 stars, 1 review the whole week. My gosh. And it goes like this: the good news and the bad. I've been intimidated to write a review given how thoughtful, witty, and clever other reviews are, but after being the first H name called out, I knew it was time. This has become my sole source of news and analysis, as the others are so depressing I just can't. Thank you, Basil and Gonz, for always keeping an eternal perspective and for keeping a great sense of humor. It makes the madness bearable. And you make the madness bearable, HB Funny, for leaving a review. Thank you very much. You get, I'm going to nominate you for a Gale's Grab bag.
Ah, good call. Yep.
HB Funny, the one person who did a review and said did it because we called out his name or her name. I forget what name, but it started with an H. So good job. What's after H, Gonz? Pop quiz. I.
Mm-hmm.
We
Ingrid.
already called out the I's. Yeah. What's after that?
J.
And fifth.
Jane. There's a lot of J. J is one of the most common. It's got to be one of the most common.
Lay it down. Here we go. You don't want to be an ugly, horrible person, do you, dear listener? So go leave us a rating and a review over on Apple Podcasts. I know it's a pain in the butt, but 99% of you are listening to us right now on that platform. Leave a review.
Yeah,
it's hurting me.
By the way, the whole
you're hurting me.
Yeah, the whole Apple Podcast thing might.
No, it's going to go bye-bye someday, but we're going to milk it for all it's worth. With that. So if your name starts with a J, John, Jane, Johnson, and Johnson's, Jansen. Johan, Giannis.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess you can have a Giannis with a J.
It's in there. Yeah, so if your name starts with J, go leave a rating and a review, or else you're an ugly, horrible person. I didn't say it. Gonz's uncle did.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Can we wake up now?
Yeah, YouTube, go find a new place to go.
It's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Are you okay, man? You sound like everything's
I'm losing
slurry.
It.
Everything's
I'm
slurry.
losing it, man.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
I'm losing it.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure?
Go Twitch, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is. You can find all those links at CanaryCry.Party as well. Too hot for YouTube.
YouTube. Now you see me. Now you don't.
Go on, get out of here. Get out of here, YouTube. Nobody loves you anymore.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's talk about COVID.
Oh, yay.
It's Corona time. COVID-19. COVID-19. COVID-19.
COVID-19.
Yes. COVID-19. COVID-19.
Coronavirus.
Vaccine number one way.
Vaccine number one way. We got a couple stories. Yeah, I know people are sick of COVID, but we're keeping track of it. And some of the stories coming out now seem to, of course, when everybody's stopped paying attention is when they release the information that we've kind of been on or saying or suggesting for a while. This first one is from channelnewasia.com. Super relevant outlet.
Channel New Asia.
Or News Asia. Sorry, News Asia.
Okay.
Moderna recalls thousands of COVID-19 vaccine doses in Europe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
A very short
Again?
article. Yeah.
Weren't they the one that had the metal shavings or whatever?
I thought that
in
was
Japan.
I thought that was that Moderna? I can't remember.
I think it was Moderna. I think so, because
right.
it came from a manufacturing plant in Spain.
Right. Okay. Moderna said on Friday, April 8th, it was recalling 764,900 doses of its COVID-19 vaccine made by its contract manufacturer Rovi after a vial was found contaminated by a foreign body. No safety issues have been identified, Moderna said, about the lots that were distributed in Norway, Poland, Portugal, Spain, and Sweden in January. Is this the same story? I don't know. The drug maker said the contamination was found in just one vial, and it was recalling the whole lot out of, quote, an abundance of caution. It did not disclose what was found in the vial. Japanese authorities last year suspended. Yeah, we know about this. It was Moderna after an investigation found stainless steel contaminants in some vials. So that was last year. So Moderna again. Over 900 million doses of Moderna have been administered worldwide to date. They do not believe the contamination posed a risk to other vials in the lot. So there you go. Just quietly pulling off close to 1 million vaccines off the shelf because oopsie doodle, something's in there. And they won't even tell us what it is. Maybe it's a black goose sentient matter DNA constructing nanobots.
Yeah, that probably is it.
Yeah.
They did the same thing last time. The Japanese story, they said it was an unknown contaminant and da-da-da-da-da-da. And then they came out with it later. Or I think it was somebody from the plant leaked it or something. I forget. But we'll see. Probably just more metal shavings or something.
I know. Yeah.
Can you guys please just
I wonder if this is also to help with some kind of insurance thing with
I was just going to say the same thing.
Yeah, because they have all these doses. Nobody wants them.
Nobody wants them. They're useless and they're going to go bad. So if there's a manufacturing mishap, then they can collect some
returns or
some insurance.
Insurance, yeah. I don't know. That's what it seems like to me. Moderna just trying to recoup some cash.
That's what they're good at.
Creating a bunch of vaccines. There's another one here, similar in nature, from the Independent, Indie, as it is known in the UK, indie.co.uk. And, of course, just as a side note, we uncovered a few episodes ago that 41% of independent.co.uk is owned by the son of a former KGB member. So there you go. We got that.
Yes.
Headline here, Oregon
and formerly was owned by that KGB member.
Right,
just got passed down to his son.
Right. Yeah. And then some Saudi
prince, a sultan.
A sultan, right. Has another 10% share or something like that. So anyway, Oregon sues COVID test company, millions of dollars pocketed. And it says here that the state of Oregon sued an Illinois-based COVID-19 testing company on Thursday, saying its owners took millions of dollars in federal funds and insurance money for themselves and boasted about buying a mansion and expensive sports cars. That always does it. It's the flaunting the American dream achieved. This is what brings these people down. Oregon Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum sued the Center for COVID Control, or CCC, and its testing partner, Doctors Clinical Laboratory, for deceptively marketing testing services and for violating Oregon's Unlawful Trade Practices Act. The lawsuit says Alea Siaj and Akbar Ali Sayed, the married couple who owned CCC, had no prior experience in the medical field or medical testing, and had run an axe throwing lounge and a photography studio. Well, they're just
entrepreneurs.
They're just smart entrepreneurs.
Yeah, they read the trends. They probably listen to this show.
Seriously.
Did you say it was an axe throwing bar and a hookah lounge?
Axe throwing lounge and a photography studio. So,
where did I get hookah lounge from?
I think your mind is on the pharmakia. You're being drawn in.
Must be it. Yeah.
This raises questions.
It's been so long since I've thrown axes.
Yeah. This raises questions about how they managed to become the recipients of federal funds for testing. The lawsuit noted they're also being investigated by the FBI and Illinois public health authorities. FBI agents searched the company's headquarters near Chicago in January, according to local news reports. That makes me think, okay, what are they covering up? What do they need the FBI to come in there to clean up?
Right.
Nobody trusts the FBI. Come on now. Washington State Attorney General Bob Ferguson sued the CCC in January, accusing it of improperly handling tests and providing fake results. The CCC did not immediately respond to an email seeking comment. A phone number listed on its website was disconnected. Rug pull. The website said CCC had paused its operations, quote, and will not resume collection of patient samples until staffing resources permit CCC to operate at full capacity. Oregon's lawsuit alleges CCC and Doctors Clinical Laboratory falsely told consumers they could provide accurate PCR COVID-19 results within 72 hours, but instead produced questionable test results and lacked proper capacity to store and process the thousands of test specimens they received each day. I wonder if this is a cover-up for failed PCR testing.
I was going to say, I don't think that this is the only time this has happened.
Yeah.
I mean, we heard a lot about this last year with the testing and the this and the that. And that's why, the PCR thing kind of started getting a little shaky.
Right. People realizing that it's not
wasn't
all that it's
quite the
up.
gold standard. And even some officials even were talking about it. I don't know if it was quite Fauci, but I think someone at Fauci, the CDC.
Yeah, there was a whole. This was separate from the declaration. What is it? The Barrington Declaration. This was separate from that, but there was a bunch of scientists who actually put together a paper that exposed the World Health Organization, basically pushing through the paper that allowed for the WHO to distribute worldwide. Hey, start PCR testing for COVID. That was all based on a really faulty paper that was peer reviewed, quote unquote, very quickly. And there were a bunch of scientists calling that out back in 2020. It was like December 2020. So, there's been a bunch of people calling this stuff out.
It's always been a mess.
Yeah.
But, as soon as there was an official, I forget if it was FDA or CDC, or maybe it was one of the guys who left the FDA, something like that, started coming out and talking about it, how it's no, there were news segments on it. There was like one news cycle where they were saying, well, it looks like PCR may no longer be the gold standard because there's this better thing, probably. I don't know.
The Bill Gates, what was it? Who was it? Bill Gates in with somebody.
George Soros.
Soros, right. The testing thing,
Mm-hmm. So anyways, and that's when these things started happening.
Yeah.
Too many of these testing companies were shown to be frauds. And it's just because of the money. The money was available. It's government money. The government was paying for the tests. And just like the COVID relief bill where $400 billion was just given away to people who, just knew how to work the system. I think the same thing with these testing facilities. It's just, it was just an opportunity, and some smart entrepreneurs jumped in when they could.
Yep.
And as long as they don't get any jail time, they're not going to regret it.
If these guys, this particular company, and there could be some scapegoats. Speaking of scapegoats, there could be some scapegoats that take the brunt of the punishment for an entire industry of criminals, basically, that took advantage of the whole pandemic situation with the testing.
Same with the $400 billion. I think they've gotten like one guy who got like $40 million in COVID relief or something for lying on these forms.
But the data scientists are looking for you. Remember that whole report?
Right. And that was just like, it's kind of like the IRS, there will be some
examples.
Every once in a while, they'll make an example of some rich guy or something, and they use it to scare everybody, even though they're not really equipped to enforce in the way that they threaten.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Well,
moving on.
Good luck to them.
Yeah.
I got this story from The Hill, and the headline is "String of COVID cases hits DC as nationwide rise looms."
Here we go again.
It's starting. And I don't know. At the top of this page, there's a clip from Rising again. And it's the same two guys and that girl.
Yeah.
I don't watch this show. Is it the same three people every time?
I think so.
What is his name? Smiley, Grim.
Smiley like Grim and Smiley and Grim. That's right.
Oh no, it's not Smiley. It's Suave. Robbie Suave.
Oh, even better.
Something like that. All right.
Yeah.
A burst of high-profile COVID-19 cases in Washington, D.C. is highlighting the lingering threat of the virus. A lingering threat. The Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, Democrat from California, cabinet members, including Attorney General Merrick Garland, and a string of lawmakers have all tested positive in recent days. The cases are reminders that the virus, and don't they just give it away right there, Gonz? The cases are reminders.
The reminders, okay.
They're just literally saying, hey, we're just trying to remind you that COVID's a thing, and like, don't forget, we're going to tell you to wear your mask soon. The cases are reminders that the virus is still circulating, even as much of America moves forward from the pandemic. Interesting choice of words, yeah. In fact, experts are bracing for cases to increase in the coming weeks, given an even more highly transmissible subvariant of Omicron.
Oh my gosh, it's a fork of a fork.
Yep. BA2, man, it's coming to get you. That is circulating widely. Quote, I do think we're going to see an uptick nationally, said Crystal Watson, senior scholar at the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security. Quote, the question is really how high will it get? How high? How high will it get, Gonz? You should ask the mushroom mommies.
Serious.
How high will it get, mommy? Washington, as well as New York and other parts of the Northeast, are already seeing upticks in cases. The high-profile D.C. cases, quote, may be a reflection of a new spike, Watson said, though she noted it is hard to tell exactly how wide a conclusion to draw from them. Yeah, sounds like this Watson person is trying to get you not to write an article about how we're all going to die. Yeah. And yet, here you are. Quote, I do think we're generally seeing an uptake in cases in D.C., she said. Still, there are more important ways in which any coming increase in cases will likely not be as bad as previous surges. People who are vaccinated, especially those who are boosted, have strong protection against severe disease, meaning that while they may still get infected, the symptoms are likely to be mild. Yeah, that's Omicron for you. In addition to the protection offered by vaccine, this is what got me. Listen to this. In addition to the protection offered by vaccination, many people across the country were infected during the first Omicron wave over the winter, which means much of the population still has additional immunity. So natural immunity, the messaging here is natural immunity is in addition to your vaccination. Now, this is even more hilarious for people like us, because if you've been vaccinated and then get sick and get additional immunity, what was the vaccination for? But we don't need to
ask questions.
We don't need to beat that dead horse.
It's the Omicron, man.
It's called the Omicron.
You know, I am kind of upset that they are moving away from the Greek lettering system.
Yeah, because it breaks your your
it
thesis.
Breaks my prediction.
Your prediction, yeah. It's okay.
I think your Sigma was the next one.
Sigma was the one you were planning. I think maybe they they found out that people were predicting it, and
I know. I do want to brag just because we have no agenda people here. I do want to brag. I did full on call Omicron as the next one. Like the day they started talking about Delta and released that's how they're doing it. Omicron, it's just the scariest sounding one. Yeah. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Quote, we now have a lot of immunity both from vaccines and from infections, said Jennifer Nuzzo, an epidemiologist. Some experts now say that hospitalizations are a more important metric. Hold on, because there is one more thing.
Okay, sorry if I'm like about all this stuff.
Oh, I know. I hate it too. Are a more important metric than sheer case numbers, with a highly transmissible virus and vaccines that protect against severe disease. The goal has shifted more towards preventing hospitals from being overwhelmed. I think they cut it.
What?
I think they cut the part
rather than trying to prevent mild cases from occurring. So the goal has
they don't
shifted.
care. They don't care if you get sick. They
this
want
isn't about
you
people
to get
dying
sick.
anymore. It's
No, there's going back to the hospitals thing. Right, exactly.
Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
Anyways, let's skip it. I'm done with this. You get the point.
You get it.
This is okay. Nope, I found it. Okay. I found the parts.
All right.
Okay. So I had to scoot way down. I'm going to scoot just a little bit up again. Here we go. While there is a risk of a new uptick, the current situation is also greatly improved. Cases at about 29,000 per day, according to the New York Times tracker, are at their lowest point since last summer.
Oh. By the day.
How if cases are up, how is it the lowest point since last summer?
It's only infecting the lizard people in D.C.
The numbers, it's just math, man.
And
if we went up, then we're not at the lowest point. The lowest point would have been whatever happened before it went up.
No, this case is just a reminder. Remember, it's just a reminder.
I know.
So the
well, that's what I'm
don't have
saying.
to make sense.
None of this matters is the point. The numbers don't matter. What they say don't matter. They put in this crazy logical fallacy that even though we just went up, it's the lowest it's ever been. That's not how numbers work. But hospitalizations have plummeted to about 15,000 or at their lowest point since the early days of the pandemic in 2020. There are still about 500 people dying every day from the virus, concentrated among the unvaccinated. So they're using the from word, which is wrong. And that is a dead horse that is just sort of a pulp on the ground now because of how much we've beat it up. But 500 people dying every day from the virus. You want to know? I had to take a second. I looked up some numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So 500 people are dying every day from coronavirus. How many people do you think, Gonz, die every day from a simple fall? Just falling. Just wherever you are, you just fall down and you die.
I don't know. Maybe, a few hundred, maybe? In the world or America?
Every day. Do some math for me here, Gonzo.
Okay.
And that's not racist. I know you just have a calculator.
My brain is a calculator, of course.
Yeah.
My parents drilled into me math early. Okay, yeah, go ahead. I have
42,000 divided by 365.
Okay, that is 115 per day.
Okay, so 115 people per day
die from falling.
Of just falling. Just falling, I don't know, in the shower, in the kitchen, in the whatever. That just happens. It just happens every day. And COVID, this disease that you must take a vaccine, you must do this, you must do that, hand over your very freedoms, is killing about 3 times more people than just falling, accidentally tripping and just biting the dust. So, anyways, be afraid, be very afraid. They're coming for you.
Yeah, well, more.
I'm sorry I stretched that out so long. I should have been more.
It's okay.
I should have been more prepared. But if you want another number, we don't have to compare it to falling. We can compare it to motor vehicles or poisoning.
I'm guessing that the numbers just aren't as impressive as.
Not great, man.
And there's
lame.
no logical. Rational reason for the locking down and the masks and all the mandates, and none of it was appropriate. We all know that.
Well, it was appropriate to create the mental health pandemic,
100%.
Which will be solved.
It's only appropriate for those people who are benefit from such massive social pressures.
When Pfizer tryptophan comes out,
right? And one of those elite lizard people, as we like to call them here, is Bill Gates.
We're taking things that are genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein, right into the vein, right into the vein.
This all has to all do with climate change.
Climate change.
Climate change.
Climate change.
We are in the beginning of a mass extinction. How dare you?
And got a couple. Well, there's one main story here, and then let me just mention that the divorce settlement has been finalized between Bill and Melinda Gates.
Okay.
So yeah.
Do we know how much she got?
I don't know that they gave the exact number in the article. No, they did here. Hold on, let's see.
They're going
according
through
to Forbes, Bill Gates, the co-founder of Microsoft, is worth a whopping $130.2 billion. Bill and Melinda hold a $125 million residence in Washington, a private plane, luxury automobile collection, and a $43 million home in Del Mar, California. Yeah, it doesn't say. It doesn't really say that.
Go through the whole thing.
No,
yeah,
it doesn't say the actual number of what she got, but I guess they settled. So yeah,
I'm sure they did,
and I'm sure her appearances recently reiterating some points about Bill's connection to
the threats.
The threats with Bill's past history with Epstein is something that she used to stronghold maybe some more.
That is a great way to squeeze him for everything he's worth. That's for sure.
But this is GeekWire.com, and the headline is Inside Bill Gates' Multifaceted Org That Wants to Help Save the World from Climate Destruction. It started with a November 2015 announcement by Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates along with Amazon's Jeff Bezos. I have a little ISO of Jeff Bezos. Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg and more than 24 other tech titans and billionaires. They're joining together to invest in cutting-edge technologies to help combat climate change. Quote, when we went into it, we didn't know if we were going to find good companies. We didn't know if there was an entrepreneur environment that was going to make sense. We didn't know if we were going to find co-investors. We thought we were going to have to basically build these companies on our own, said Jonah Goldman, who worked with Gates on the effort. This is like a proto ESG. It's like the birthing of ESG here.
Interesting.
Through the eyes of the billionaires. 13 months later, the group announced that it had raised $1 billion for its Breakthrough Energy Ventures, a fund that targets climate tech startups in the tech development and company building phases. We're pleasantly surprised, Goldman said. The early success emboldened and propelled the effort. It has now evolved into the Gates-led organization called Breakthrough Energy, a nearly 100-employee global effort with multiple programs working to support and deploy decarbonizing tech. It includes the original venture fund, which has doubled to $2 billion and invested in more than 85 companies. Breakthrough Energy Catalyst, a program that funds companies that are ready to scale their technologies. Other programs, including Breakthrough Energy Fellows, which supports basic research and new startups, as well as efforts promoting climate-related policy and government engagement, public outreach, and in-house science. While it was an early leader in climate tech investments, 7 years later, Breakthrough Energy is part of a much more crowded field. The sector has seen steady growth, with investors worldwide last year committing more than $900 billion to decarbonization companies, according to Bloomberg NEF. Breakthrough Energy is unusual for its network of initiatives that are trying to bolster the weak links in the pathway from the benchtop research to commercialized solutions that can remove half a gigaton of carbon from the atmosphere each year, either through cleaner industrial and energy producing processes or outright carbon capture. GeekWire recently caught up with Goldman, now managing director of Breakthrough Energy. Hey,
what's the punchline to this here?
It's just a kind of an inside look at, the Breakthrough Energy's company with Gates leading it. We talk about the next sort of the new, Biden talking about the New World Order, all these supply chains changing. Ultimately, it comes down to energy distribution, energy control, and that has to do with the smart grid. We've talked about all the infrastructure for the elite to really create the virtual panopticon, the technocracy watching everything, us monitoring ourselves, and carbon capturing is sort of the perfect vehicle, the climate change conversation.
And these are all things under one organization run by Bill Gates. By
Bill Gates. It's an energy company, though. It's an energy company. So it's literally directly in competition.
He's got the medical thing on lockdown. He's got the farmland. He's got the computers. And now he's got energy.
He's got energy.
Turning into a literal sort of, evil villain.
And he's butting heads with people like Elon Musk, which I think is part of the agenda too, to create these sort of world leaders at odds and, fighting for basically our attention, our money, our DNA, all of it.
I think just our souls. They just want our souls.
You can just distill it down to that. But, I just thought, we won't go through the whole interview here, but it talks about the multiple trillions of dollars that this can bring in and everything else. So I think this is all part of the ESG. They're sort of uncovering the short-term history of how they even came up with the whole ESG. They don't say ESG in this article, but we've been paying attention to it enough to know that that's kind of what this is, like the billionaires who want to help fight climate change doing things
All about stakeholders, baby.
Yeah, creating the
using the culture war as the currency.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
So it's something to keep an eye on, because these things get announced and they go without too much fanfare or discussion until much later when people start really freaking out about stuff. But Bill Gates is a big enough name, a hated enough name to at least mention Breakthrough Energy Ventures and what they're doing, what they're planning to do as we move into this the new world order, as they say.
Good times. Good times, baby. Yeah. Should we take another break?
Let's do another quick break here.
Oh, yeah.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
This is a break where we explicitly thank our producers who come in with just their talent. We have many talented producers, and we encourage everybody to submit art, music, jingles, all that, because it's not just to help the podcast, which it does, but we consider Canary Cry News Talk to be a therapeutic reflection of our troubling world, and we encourage our producers to come in with their art, jingles, music, whatever it might be, so that we can process all of it together, maybe get a laugh or two, and just to have a good time, because it's all the news, it's not really happy.
It's too much, man. It's too
very
much.
Dark. So
I will say, real quick, if I may, for those who are listening on the No Agenda stream, you can always go to CanaryCry.Party and find one of our streaming locations if you'd rather take a look at the art as we show it on the video stream somewhere in the internetiverse.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And to start things off, we break things down into different categories. Audio production is one way to produce a show.
Yeah.
Audio production.
One of our prolific audio producers is a man who goes by Learbag 3000.
22nd century Learbag man.
Yeah, otherwise known as the 22nd
century Learbag man.
Yeah, he wrote us a note. He said, "Hey boys, first a verse, for I delivered unto you all of that which I also received, how that Christ died for our sins according to the scriptures, and that he was buried, and that he rose again the third day according to the scriptures." 1 Corinthians 15, 3 through 4. Sorry, this jam's a little longer, but hey, I figured a Sunday jingle might only get played once. The Beats Bros and I, that's Ghost and John F., attempted to collab for the Sunday jingle, but our schedules didn't line up, unfortunately. So here is what I made for that attempt. That's right, baby. I figured out how to dubstep on GarageBand iOS.
Oh, my God.
I call it Leardub Bagstep? ? Testing out the name. Anyway, here you go. I figured I needed to step up my Wubba-Dub Glub game after taking that big L from Ghost last week. Oh, it is a competition, huh? I think this one can compete. Your pal L Bizzle, take a listen. Should we just play the whole thing? I guess we can do it.
How long is it?
32 seconds.
That's fine. Play the whole thing.
Sunday jingle. Emergency jingle. Sunday jingle. Emergency jingle. Bag boy Lear. Think outside the rave.
L.
Okay. Think outside the rage. Score. Okay. Banonkers.
Banonkers. Wow, you really did figure out how to dubstep on GarageBand iOS, Learbag. Very well done. Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Nice work.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Learbag.
I will say I listened to all of the audio productions for this episode over and over and over. I am a little no, I'm going to bite my tongue. I'm a little afraid.
And then you don't.
And then I don't. I'm a little afraid that we're just going to turn into a dubstep show.
I know. I was going to actually say that because Marty B does rock. I know it takes a little longer to lay down some rock. Yeah. It's because the ease of access we have now to electronic music making It's just easier to sit at a laptop and bust something out than to,
it is easier,
get a mic
but I want to be clear.
Yeah.
I want to be absolutely clear.
Yeah.
Everything that has come in, especially this show, I am 100% in support of. And especially now that the boys are having some fun competition and collaboration, I like it. I support it. Don't change it just because I made a comment. Mm-hmm. Keep doing your thing. Mm-hmm. All right.
Well, thank you very much, Learbag. We got another couple pieces from Ghosternaut. And we first have the Emergency Sunday jingle.
Is this the one? I think here's the thing. I think this was a collab.
Okay, yeah. So I'm confused.
One of these was a collab. So I think what happened is Ghosternaut made something and then send it to Jonathan F. Actually, and then and then Jonathan F. Put a twist on it. So we might hear some similar things, but I think it's okay. We'll just keep playing.
Okay, so let me read the note. I was listening to Wednesday's episode whilst reclining on the baby seal leather couch down at the Lizard Lounge in Antarctica, and I heard Gonz say that he wanted an even bigger drop. So I figured I'd provide what you so sincerely requested. Sure to rattle your rump. Enjoy. I think this is the one. Hold on.
This is a different one. Yes, this is not the one I was thinking of.
This is the bigger one.
This is a bigger one, and I think we should just play it all the way through. It's about a minute, but it's great.
Here we go.
Says PS.
Say it. What?
Oh my gosh.
What?
I was going to say this PS, but I guess it doesn't matter.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
He's got to save something for next episode.
I want like another bigger drop. I want my room to start shaking. Speak of the ghost.
Completely off the chain.
It's a banger. I want like another bigger drop.
Oh, all right. Gnarly. I'm rattling.
I want my room to start shaking.
Speak of the ghost.
I think Ghosternaut might win.
That is the
rattle
hardest hitting thing that we've played on this show, I think. Wow. Really well done, Ghosternaut. We got the only place that these can exist when they're this length is in the end of show mixtape, which I am all for.
Just a rave at the end.
Yeah. I mean, we got a nice collection, and of course, we'll put it on the Canary Cry mixtape as well. Yep, you did it. You did it again, Ghosternaut.
Okay, so let's play the Emergency Sunday jingle from Ghosternaut as well before we spend too much time rambling on. Here's the Sunday jingle.
It's a Sunday.
Sunday.
Bruh.
All right, there you go.
Thank you, Ghosternaut.
Thank you, Ghosternaut. All right, so the other part of the collab here, Jonathan F. This is a collab I did with Ghosternaut. I think it's this one here. What? Hold on. I'm confused now. There's multiple Jonathan F. files here. Here we go. This is the one.
Bruh. Sunday.
Ooh, that was nice and snappy too.
Snappy little vocador.
Snappy bops. It bops like makes you bounce a little bit. Okay.
And Jonathan F. also made another one. This is another. Yeah. It's a Hairy Legs jingle that we've had one before. Obviously the Biden jingle, but here's a new one.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. Hairy legs.
I think we played this one already.
Did we?
We played this one. Yeah, we did.
Did it get caught up in the thing from last episode? Oh, you're right. It is from last episode. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's
Jonathan.
from last episode.
Okay.
So there's the collab. Let's see here.
Here's the collab. No, we just played it.
Yeah, you guys got to start naming your files better.
I'm getting so good. We need to standardize the naming of the files. That's what we need to do. That'll help us.
The file is Sunday Jingle Edit.
Yeah, we played that.
No,
we didn't.
You played Ghostronauts version.
Oh, okay. So
there's a Jonathan F. Sunday jingle edit.
Bruh. Sunday.
Didn't we just play that?
We just played that one.
that's
the
what I'm
one.
saying.
That's the one that I said. Okay, maybe that's it. I don't know. There was one that was very similar to Ghostronauts, but it had a different sort of melody layer on top of it, and I just don't know.
Now it's turning into a whole.
Now it's something else. Well, apologies if we didn't get it straight, guys, but you really
start labeling. All right. Well, thank you very much, Jonathan F.
All right. We need the portal, man. We need the upload portal. Doing everything off of this email is harmful.
It's so hard to do. Yeah. We got one more from Psalm 40. He said, "Hey, fellas, so I heard Basil is having a gritty grimace craving to celebrate the special occasion on the No Agenda stream and to try my hand at quenching Basil's rump rattler. Yeah. I have a rendition of Mark 13, perhaps better known as Matthew 24. I call it Remain Watchful. God bless and Godspeed, my brothers." So let's play a few seconds of that. It's about a 4-minute track, so it's pretty long, so we won't play the whole thing.
Okay.
The days will come when the great buildings of the cities shall be thrown down, and there will not be left one stone upon another. Do not allow anyone to lead you astray. There will be those.
I like it. We'll play the whole thing at the end of the show.
Yeah, I will say Psalm 40 has quite the range. He's able to make work for us. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. That does. And
I do real quick. Just want to repent.
Okay.
I'm the one who called for the dubstep. And so
now you're the one complaining about it.
No, I'm not complaining about it. I want to be clear. I'm not complaining. Keep going. But there you go. Okay. I repent for my comment earlier. All right. Let's keep going.
We got some art.
One art, please.
And we always start with one of our youngest artists. I don't know how old she is now. She's been doing art for our show since she was like 12 or something, right?
I think 13. And I think she's 15 now.
15 now? Wow. It's Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
And it's a simple note that says, "New Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson." And that's exactly who she drew. It's hard to explain.
And
with an audio only, knowing that there's audio only going on half the time.
I got you, bro. Sorry. My metaverse is full on glitching right now. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another thing for those No Agenda listeners, because you're listening just to audio. The visual version of the show, I am inside of a virtual reality helmet this whole show, which is a ridiculous look. But it is fun to do. And so, but the metaverse is bad and doesn't work, and it's just a bad technology. And so it really hinders pretty much my entire career. But this is a magnificent portrait.
It's very well done.
Ketanji Brown. My gosh. Allie, again, I say it every single time, but the incredible photorealism that is developing in your skills is out of control, and each one is better than the last. Gonz, here's a little thing that I don't know if she's done it before, but I've definitely missed. First of all, the light going through glasses, glasses, how they bend the universe. She's got that going on perfectly. And you can even see the hyper realistic shadowing underneath.
It's so realistic that it's uncanny.
My gosh. Thank you very much, Dame Allie. Wonderfully done.
I think she drew a subtle lizard eyes.
It's a very subtle lizard eye.
Very subtle, yeah. It hasn't revealed itself yet.
It's not quite the Eye of Sauron, Mark Zuckerberg, demon face.
Right.
But, all the elites, they have some level of lizard eye going on.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dame Allie. Appreciate it. And keep it up. We got another one from Sir Dove, Knight of Respeltia. And he says, "Peace for today's Sunday show spectacular. I made a bootleg children's book cover for Daddy Klaus, guiding some of his children into our promising new future. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for you.
This is great. So it's in the style of what are they called? Gold
Pied Piper. Oh, the
style. It's the gold books or whatever. The kids books.
Yeah, the kids book.
Gold
what are they called?
Spine. I don't know.
They have that golden spine of the kids' children's book. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But this is The Greatest Reset, a CanaryCry storybook classic. Story by Runk Smash, The Sentinel. Pictures by Ali Blaze. A nice combination there. And, man, this is a tough one to describe. It is in sort of this old style fashion of children's books, like the kind your grandma would read to you when you visit, with this sort of lanky, strange positioning of like their bodies. But we've got Klaus Schwab. He's dressed up in a yellow and red sort of flute player's, old-timey outfit, prancing down the street, playing his flute to the children, and the children behind him following the Pied Piper into the Great Reset. Is my gosh, it's all the young global leaders.
Yeah.
You got Putin.
Yeah.
You've got
Trudeau.
You've got what is the eye patch man's name?
When am I blanking?
Why can't I remember it?
Yeah, chat knows.
Yeah, start naming these people. And I'm also having a mind blank because, well, first of all, is that Joe Biden being carried as a baby on somebody's back?
Yeah, it's on the back of the Hawaii Democrat girl everybody liked.
Person, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Crenshaw is the eye patch man. So
Yes.
you've got Dan Crenshaw in sort of like a Peter Pan outfit, doing this crazy limbo down the road, following Klaus Schwab. Tulsi Gabbard.
That's right. Yeah. So baby Biden is riding on the back of Tulsi, and the details of this is great because baby Biden has hairy legs. If you zoom in, his legs are hairy, hanging off the back of Tulsi Gabbard.
And then on the gold spine of the book here, you've got a collection of the Canary boys, the googly-eyed canary, the dead Illuminati eye, the dead robots. You got the Gonz canary face. Good stuff. Thank you very much, Sir Dove.
Thank you, Sir Dove. Appreciate it. And you can always check them out. Go to CanaryCry.Newstalk.com. Check out all the art.
I don't know how I've done this. Somehow I've put this image. It's about 100 feet tall and covering my view of everything. So
you have entered the Great Reset metaverse.
I have entered the Great Reset. All right, so you got to take over while I figure this out.
Okay, all right. Well, that's fine. Thank you, Sir Dove. Next up, we have Mr. Jag, who does blue pen drawings. And he just sent a note that said, feelings and thoughts about the NWO. And if you look at the piece here, it's it's got like a statue of Apollo, like the head of the statue. I guess it's not the statue. I guess it's just him, kind of in like an old Roman statue-esque style. He's got a little thing that says Apollo around his neck and some arrows behind him. And there is an all-seeing eye pyramid. And it's all kind of cracked.
The capstone
the capstone. It's been kind of crumbled and cracked. It's got the all-seeing eye with a tear. And
so sad.
You got the checkerboards kind of breaking through, and the Basilica di San Pietro at the Vatican. You have the Vatican destroyed there, and what is it? Not the Washington Monument. The obelisk that stands at the Vatican is also destroyed. So, there's a lot going on here. This is
destruction of the Illuminati power structure from around the world. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Jag.
Thank you, Mr. Jag. Appreciate it. We also got a piece from Grace H. Miss G Beauty. It's been a while. She said, "Hello, Basil and Gonz. Here's some art for the show. Just haven't been creative for the last couple months, but I got my groove back. I just like hearing," and this is the quote. This is your quote. Okay, this is you said this.
Good quote.
And producer Grace here made it into a piece. The quote was, "I just like hearing my own voice full stop. But that's the full quote. But hearing it in the grittiest, meanest beats that are coming out of our producers is really fun. This had to do with the jingle that Ghosts Are Not Sent, and Basil was impressed. I thought it was too funny. The audio production lately is incredible. Agree. Good job, jingle producers. Have a great show today on the No Agenda stream. Many blessings. Thank you very much, Grace H.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's beautiful. It's sort of this very pleasing, gradient, flowy, colorful painting of this quote. I like hearing my own voice. Full stop.
There you go.
But ... Thank you very much, Miss G Beauty.
Thank you, Miss G Beauty. All right, now on to the microfiction.
Microfiction.
Time.
Microfiction.
And first person to bring in a microfiction today is Runk Smash. As you notice, we have a lot of producers that do a lot of work for us. We're very grateful for them.
Lots of content around here, man.
Here we go.
Yes. In an abandoned warehouse, two DJs duel on opposing turntables. The crowd gathered is getting rowdier as the spectral astronauts with an all-seeing eye, the sentient bag of 3,000 lire, collaboratively build out the grittiest of beats, creating a monstrous Wednesday anthem. The crowd is primed as swooping in on a golden canary as a pair of googly eyes on top of a massive specimen of manliness. Welcome to the Canary Cry Radio, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil, he shouts. Then from the stratosphere at Mach 8.8 crashes in a glowing tungsten canary that stops just above the ground. And I'm Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ.
Hey, what? Is that how I'm going to appear when I come down in the tungsten rod UFO?
That's your voice. That's what your voice sounds like.
Okay, finish the microfiction.
That's much mock, man, responds Basil, and the crowd loses control.
Okay, I don't know if I like that one. I like the microfiction. I don't know if I like the delivery.
Choices, you know. I got to make choice extemporane. That was a cold read, by the way, everybody. Yeah. That was a cold read, and you know when a quotation mark appears, I don't know. I have to make a choice immediately.
To make.
And I didn't know who was going to talk, and it just happened. That was just the voice I chose. I didn't know it was yours, but I thought it was actually pretty close.
Should I start talking like that during the show?
Yeah, you should.
We are finished with this break.
Okay. All right. All done. Oh, yeah. And for those on the No Agenda stream, just so you know, these microfictions, this is if you didn't understand it, don't worry. It's not necessarily supposed to be sort of a cohesive thing for you to understand, but it's more of just you just let it wash over you and see what it inspires.
Yeah.
Okay.
Time to wake up.
Yes. It's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Time for some cold news.
So a new discovery in
Antarctica.
Penguins. Basil, we've been tracking Antarctica for several weeks now. There's been an uptick of reports about Antarctica and what's happening there.
And just how important it is. A combination of how and why Antarctica is the most important possible place on Earth, and simultaneously, explicitly not affected by climate change, says every Antarctic scientist, despite what CNN writes last week about Antarctica being our sort of signal about climate change.
Yes, and
not a single Antarctic scientist agrees with that.
So, yeah, and part of it is because in the last few weeks, it was reported that there was a massive spike in temperature in Antarctica that, what was it, almost 100 degrees Fahrenheit, the amount of temperature?
100 degree increase in temperature in one day.
In one day. So, we were like, whoa, that's crazy. And all the scientists came out and said, this is not climate change. They were very explicit about that. And we talked about how CNN was the only one that was like, oh, climate change. Look at Antarctica. Yeah, well, we might have more of a source here. This is South China Morning Post. Okay.
Oh, okay.
This is an opinion piece.
So the country that is jealous that it does not have a claim on Antarctica, so much so that they've been encroaching on Australia's Antarctic claim.
Yeah.
So they're the ones bringing whatever this is.
Yes. And their headline, and this might explain why CNN is, peddling what they are. The headline is Climate Change Action Can't Wait for Ukraine War and Pandemic to Pass.
Oh.
On March 15th, the 1,200 square kilometer Conger ice shelf in Antarctica collapsed. 3 days later, the Concordia Research Station in Antarctica recorded a temperature of minus 12 degrees Celsius, a stunning 40 degrees Celsius above seasonal norm.
Yeah.
Out of sight and out of mind, global warming continues to apace weather.
No way.
We care or notice or not.
No way. No way. It's crazy.
It's insane, right? We literally reported on like 5 scientists saying like, no, this is not climate change. Stop saying it's climate change. And the first
episode after episode after episode had a new scientist trying to calm everybody down. This is not climate change. Antarctica is not affected by climate change. This 100-degree spike in a day, it happens once in a while. This is not climate change. And then CNN and China are just like, it's climate change.
It's climate change.
That is crazy.
It's great.
Climate change.
Meanwhile, London-based writer James Brittle is trying to get us to focus on, quote, the present average velocity of climate change, the pace at which plants and animals are migrating in response to changing weather. In the U.S., quote, the conifers are mostly heading north, while broad-leafed and flowering trees such as oaks and birches move west. White, I don't know. White spruce.
What does west have anything to do with climate change?
And if
right, it's a latitude issue. This climate change.
Yeah, and oaks and birches. We're talking about birds, right?
They're uprooting. They're walking around.
We're not
like
talking about oaks and like wood, right? The wood isn't standing up and walking around. Okay, anyway.
Well, I don't know if anybody's told you this, but wood does come from trees.
Yes, I know. I didn't think trees walk up and move around.
Yeah, you saw Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings. Which, by the way, I made a parenting boo-boo just as a side note. I was trying to show the talking trees to my daughter, my 5-year-old daughter. She was 4 at the time. And I was like, oh, there's trees that talk, just kind of playing with their imagination. She's like, really? I was like, yeah, let me show you.
Their head thing. Yeah.
So I pull up a little clip, and the first thing that pops up is an aura going, oh, and she's like, ah! I'm like, no, I traumatized my daughter.
That's funny.
Darn you, J.R. Tolkien.
And Peter
and Peter Jackson for making a scary thing.
Orcs. Dude, that's so funny. I never understood what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
My dad sometimes listens to the show. I don't know if he's listening. Dad, if you're listening, I don't know if I've ever told you this before. So this is family
airing family secrets on air.
We're having a family moment here through the power of podcasting. It took me till about 28 years old to realize that so much of what my dad told me when I was younger, and I don't mean so much. He was a great father. I learned a lot. He was very, was very, very responsible. But he would do exactly what you're just talking about. Just say whatever. Like, so there are some trees that talk. And I just would not question it, because you don't. When you're a kid, your parent says something, you just do it. And so there were beliefs that I had about the world that lasted until I was 28 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And when I was 28 years old is the moment I realized, like, oh, my dad was just kind of like having fun sometimes.
Spitballing with you, yeah.
He was just spitballing, and not that he like was trying to create like a false worldview or something. He was just having fun, messing around, and I didn't know it, and so I would just integrate it as fact about the world. And so there you go, Dad. I don't even think by no means did he think I would ever remember a silly joke that he would make. At all.
That's kind of how it works.
Yeah, much less make it like a lifelong journey to learn. That
the comment that lasted 27 years. Yeah. Let's get back to this. Okay. We'll land the plane here and wrap the show soon here. But this is where the whole show comes full circle, okay? While humans bluster and procrastinate, our trees, plants, birds, butterflies, and mosquitoes are getting on with the painful but essential process of adjustment. Interesting.
So painful.
Trees, very general. Plants, general. Birds, butterflies, okay, a little more specific. And mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are like
very specific.
The most important thing to the New World Order, I guess.
Apparently.
Yeah. Like
what's so funny is because the science shows, or at least it used to, I don't know, this may have changed because, that's what science does if it's real science. They did the math on like, it's always dangerous to like get rid of an entire species of something because you don't know how it affects the food chain from top to bottom. And they were talking about, let's just kill all mosquitoes. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, because birds eat them and it'll collapse the ecosystem. Of life. And they ran the numbers and they were like, wait, no. Nobody really needs to eat the mosquitoes. We could totally just kill all those little guys.
And then the mosquitoes came to rebel.
Yeah,
they came to protest.
They piloted.
See, here's the
thing. With mosquitoes, they can get in there and they can hack robots. So they're so tiny, they'll crawl into the circuit boards. They'll stick their little noses in there, short out a circuit, and start controlling all the robots like some sort of exoskeleton.
Yeah. Let me just wrap this here. So, like me, I'm just going to go back to the article. Bridle must be pained to see that at least, must be pained to see the latest 3,000-page report from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, go virtually unnoticed last week, despite its warnings about the imminent and dire consequences of global warming. It seems our natural world is taking more notice than we are, even without the benefit of armies of climate scientists and huge IPCC reports. Which I thought was funny. Did this guy go through all 3,000 pages in a week and like reading and like yelling about it?
He had a robot do it.
It is not just the dull prose of the report's authors that is to blame. He did read it. Neither can our political leaders and our media be wholly blamed for being more concerned by the issues of the day, whether that means the COVID-19 pandemic, Russia's war on Ukraine, the emergence of John Lee Kai-Chu as Hong Kong's likely next chief executive, or the tax management antics of Akshata Murthy, millionaire wife of British Finance Minister Rishi Sunak. But the scary reality is that we continue to turn a blind eye. In the frenzy of climate debate focused on the UN Climate Summit in Glasgow last November, the world was awash with pious promises and unanchored commitments to net zero. This latest report is similarly full of scientific counsel on how to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees. Blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on and on there. The point here that I wanted to get to, other than the stuff we've already covered, is this is the South China Morning Post. And if you sort of dig into who owns the South China Morning Post, it is owned by the Alibaba Group. You know, the Alibaba Group. And that means Jack Ma. Remember what happened to Jack Ma? Or do we not know what happened to Jack Ma?
Nobody knows what happened to Jack Ma.
There's been a couple reports, though. Jack Ma, according to punchng.com, African entrepreneurs to benefit from Jack Ma's $1.5 million grant. So this is March 31st, 2022.
He's getting in on the Wakanda game, the Afrofuturism.
On the Wakanda game, the Building Africa thing. So 1.5 million is not that much money, but it's moving in that direction. And of course,
sends a message.
of course, if you're going to be part, and by the way, the picture they have of Jack Ma in this article from the punchng.com, his face looks like, I don't know, like an alien or something. It's a really weird picture of Jack Ma. I don't know if they photoshopped it to squeeze his head or what, but it's just a very strange image. But anyway, the other Jack Ma update here real quick is from Tinag Pilipinas. I think it's a Filipino outlet. And their headline here, Jack Ma's company to power Binangonan Rural Banks app. So now Jack Ma's getting into the bank app business.
They got him, man.
So bank app business on one side, Africa on the other. And we all know everything's moving to Africa. They're going to rebuild it. Wakanda being the propaganda to reestablish Africa. They're going to do kind of like what they did with the Jews in 1948, sort of a pilgrimage to the homeland type of thing. They're probably going to do that with the black community of America, a pilgrimage back to Africa type of thing. And I think they're going to really try to push for resources and everything else from Africa, but also as the gateway to Antarctica, because it's one of the South Africa being one of the countries closest.
South Africa being one of the gateway
cities. Yeah, the gateway city. I think that's what they called it.
Johannesburg, I think, is the gateway city.
Yeah, where all the goods and everything will flow through to and from Antarctica. So just kind of interesting. This is China's soft play, and it would make sense that this narrative about using all the stuff about Antarctica as part of climate change, to use it similarly to CNN, because maybe they're on the same team doing the same thing. CNN is here not to help us at all, and
you don't say.
I don't think they're here to
Fox,
give us information.
Gonz, but Fox.
Yeah,
that
what
was
about
my Brian Stelter impression.
It's Foxy, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Saying
the gateway city thing, I'm realizing on the flat earth map, the one that has the ice wall around the flat earth, that is Antarctica, puts a different spin on those gateway cities.
It forms a perfect hexagram or something, right? Around the...
Because whatever, probably.
Yeah.
But whatever, comes through the shimmer, whatever, enters our realm over, through, or under the ice wall or whatever, will be introduced to the world through the gateway cities. And so whoever controls the gateway cities, basically controls whatever interdimensional resources or visitors that might come our way.
That sounds good. Well, we'll keep an eye and keep track of Antarctica, as we always do.
Keep an eye on it. Yeah.
Let's go. Antarctica, go burn.
A snowstorm. Antarctica. Ice scientists are penguins.
Antarctica, they're opening the abyss.
That's right. And thanks for tuning in, everybody, to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We're going to be back to our regularly scheduled programming tomorrow. That's April 11th, Monday, April 11th. So if you're listening now on the No Agenda stream, just know you can go to CanaryCry.Party, or if that doesn't work, http://CanaryCry.Party, and you can find all of our broadcast locations. If you're a live stream type person, we're on 3 times a week. You can come hang out with us, or if you're more of a podcast person, just search for Canary Cry News Talk on your podcast player. All that and more waiting for you at CanaryCry.Party. And I want to take a second, remind everybody, first of all, thank you for producing this episode in all the different amazing ways, of course, with your time, your talent, and your treasure. But just know, independent media is still at risk. It's still a target, as we've been watching the CNN Plus debacle crumble in front of our eyes. I fear more than ever that they will realize that mainstream corporate news's options are dwindling. They cannot recreate what independent news can, so they must destroy it. But not if the people come together, band together to keep independent news truly independent, and you can do that by becoming a producer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah?
I had like a sciatica pinch or something happen just now.
See?
Fun,
it's happening already. The nanobots.
Oh, the nanobots
have invaded They're going to take them out, folks. But you can help us stay alive by producing the show. You can do that in a few ways. You can do that with your treasure by heading on over to patreon.com/ccnt, or even better, canarycryradio@gmail.com. No, that's our email address. canarycryradio.com/support.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
There you go. And thank you to all of our producers who made this show possible. Starting with our executive producers of episode 469, executive producer Austin D. and Bush Protector. Thank you to our new supply dropper, Lydia G., and the rest of our beautiful, talented producers, Timothy H., Sir Dylan, Knight of the Wailing Avian, more of Kyle C., Sir JC, Knight of the Techno Squatch, Sir Casey the Shield Knight, Malik W., LX Protocol V2, Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, Gail M., and Sir James, Knight and Servant of the Lion of Judah. Oh, also Veronica D. There you go. Thank you very much. And thank you to a couple other of our producers who serve the show in a different way. Starting with our Clippies.
Clippy on those videos.
Thanks, Clippy. That's Emsworth, Faye Liverin, and Epsilon. Clipping every episode, putting it up on the Canary Cry Clips channel. You guys rule. Go follow that channel, by the way. Next up, I want to thank the timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
That's true. It is hard work, but they're unstoppable. I want to thank, let's see here. We didn't have a show on Friday. So thank you to Jade Bouncerson for doing the timestamps on Wednesday.
Yeah,
you're the best.
And by the way, since, take advantage of the fact that we are live on the No Agenda stream right now.
Yeah.
If there's anybody who wants to help us produce with your talent and your time, to help us get on some of those podcasting 2.0 apps, not get on because we're already on it, but just in terms of doing similar, time stamping, integrating the stuff. Please contact us.
Yeah, because all of the podcasting 2.0 stuff is stuff that we already do. We just need to figure out a better system to doing that. So if you like the show, NA people, hope you enjoyed it. And just know you can get involved. We would love some help with things like that. All right, CanaryCry.Meetups.com.
Canary Cry Meetup.
Go to CanaryCry.Meetups.com. Birds of a feather. You know the thing. You can go to the Zoom meetups. We've got People Zoom on the third Saturday of every month. We've got April 30th, East Texas meetup. On the 9th, oh my gosh, that was yesterday. Louisville, Kentucky happened.
We didn't get a report, but
no,
we'll have
we didn't.
Tomorrow.
We gotta hear from you, Kentuckians. Let's see here. The San Antonio, Texas meetup on the 23rd, and the Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania meetup on the 9th of July. Those are the ones now, but there are always more a-brewing, and if none of those meetups are near you, you can put on a meetup yourself. There's Canarians all around. You just need a place, a zone to gather, and you can do it. So just pick a time and a place, let us know about it, and we will tell the world. And you can go to CanaryCry.Meetups.com to check it all out. See you at the meetup.
This is fun. See you at the meetup.
That's right. Leave us ratings and reviews, folks. Go do it on Apple Podcasts. It's really helpful. And if we get 5 or more ratings and reviews a week, you'll make me go, ooh, ooh. Otherwise, you're an ugly, horrible person.
Ugly, horrible person. You must leave review on iTunes. And if you do not, you are ugly, horrible person. You bring shame to family. Ugly, horrible person.
I hear rumors that the grumpy uncle is going to message us. We'll have to keep an ear out for that,
I'm looking forward to that. Okay, there you go. Yeah, do all those things. Ratings and reviews are very important, especially on Apple Podcasts. Most of you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts. Go ahead and leave a review. You're already there. Come on now. Thank you to people who mention us on social media.
Yep.
Doesn't matter where you are. You could be at Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever. NoAgendaSocial.com. So many options, folks. Please mention us, tag us, post links to Canary Cry clips. All that stuff is very important. And if nothing else, just to make sure the lizard people know that we're still around. And I would love to mention those people on the show as soon as I get my act together. I'm going to love doing that. Other than that, just share the show. Share it with your friends, your family. Let people know that things are happening in the world that they don't know about and what they've been told. The narrative crafted for them is a billions dollars strong narrative created by lizard people who want to control their minds and use them for their own personal gain. And, I think people are starting to get that thing, get that feeling. Maybe everybody except for Brian Stelter, who is sort of hypnotized by his own, thrall. But the fact of the matter is, this is a time, this is the place that people are getting permission. They're giving themselves permission to question mainstream narratives. And what a great show for them to listen to. So go ahead and do that. But a lot of people, they don't want to just share the show in the normal lame ways, like with sending a letter or like a telegram or...
yeah, that's how people share podcasts.
I don't know. People share
handwritten
podcasts.
Letters is the new way you should do it.
But you can do it a different way. Yeah, you could figure out your own way, your own unique gift that you can give to the world. Why don't you just first start out by becoming a hacker? No, not like a Klaus Schwab cyber pandemic hacker. You can be a Gene hacker. Yeah, Gene Hackman. Go give Gene Hackman a call. He'll answer your call. It's in his bones. It's in his genetics. And you'll say, "Hey, Gene, what's up?" And he's like, I don't know what Gene Hackman sounds like. Anyways,
come up with
become a Gene Hackman. And instead of creating a giant swarm of millions of gene-hacked mosquitoes who inevitably will invade every part of the ecosystem, squirreling their way into every single robot, hacking those robots and using them as exoskeletons to get their revenge after generation and generation and generation of being squished, squashed, zapped, sprayed, burned, and just generally hated by the general public, those poor mosquitoes. No. What you need to do is you need to become a gene hacker and create 1 million tiny gene Hackmans. And if anything can win the battle between the gene-hacked mosquitoes and the gene-hacked Gene Hackmans, it's our very own small, tiny, itty-bitty Gene Hackmans. That here's the thing, though, because just a single Gene Hackman couldn't possibly defeat the sort of evil force that is a miasma of gene-hacked mosquitoes. No. We need to multiply, and be fruitful with those gene-hacked Gene Hackmans, and have about 4 billion of them, and let them free into the ecosystem. You don't even need to control them because of Gene Hacked. Gene Hackman only has one thing on his mind, and that is the destruction of all mosquitoes. And we all know that mosquitoes are just simply another tool of the New World Order. The lizard people, they love those little guys. But our Gene Hackmans will go to war. You have not seen war like a billion little Gene Hackmans. And once they destroy all the mosquitoes, then we're definitely going to have a Gene Hackman problem. And that's where we come in. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take a tip from Sir Dove and his artwork he sent in today. We'll become the old Peter Pipers of the Gene Hackman's Gene Hacked man, and we'll play a little flute, but the flute doesn't sound like a regular flute. The flute sounds like some wubba lub dub rump rattling grizzly master nasty dubstep. And so you'll see that. Just a strange man in like a VR helmet and googly eyes, just playing a flute that sounds like wah, 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 and a bunch of Gene Hackmans dancing down the road as he leads them into the sea. I'm not sure how this will help the show, but somebody's going to see that and ask where you got that idea. And you'll have to tell them you got it from Canary Cry News Talk, your favorite podcast. And other than that, we like to call it rattling cages. If you have any more questions, here's what you do. You walk right up to him, you grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Any last words, Gonz?
Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you, especially producers, listeners, Canary Cry News Talk. Appreciate you tuning in on a Sunday. And for all those NA listeners, thank you guys for checking it out, especially if you lasted this long. This is the first time you're listening to us. That's a feat in itself. You guys deserve
impressive.
A pat on the back.
It's impressive. We recognize we can be pretty alienating to new listeners.
It can be pretty annoying.
But if anybody would understand what we're trying to do here, it'd be the No Agenda people.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so we're happy to be here. We're happy to have you with us. And make sure to head to CanaryCry.Party or just search Canary Cry News Talk, just in general, but also on your podcast players or YouTubes or whatever. And thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
We will hunt you down and make you pay.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake. Feed him more.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Come on, man. This is not about freedom or personal choice.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
Cosmos, children in the space lane.
I'm an adult in a spaceship.
Supersonic space lane screamed to life and the vehicle swooped upward on board. The passengers experienced a 3 Gs of force from the burst of extreme acceleration and watched the blue sky fade into space.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Oh, yeah.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Yes. Do it, Richard. Do it, Jeff. Do it for humanity.
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship.
He can accomplish it. You can too. Big windows, cool. Rocket ship, cool. Space plane, cool.
Nukes,
cool.
Blowing stuff up,
cool. Space plane, astronaut, rocket ship.
Avius anchor.
We have Basil. He's a human. Just look at him. Go to the bathroom in bags. He can go to the bathroom in the cosmos. It changed everything. Wives in space, children in the cosmos, with your best friend brother. Wives in the cosmos, children in the space lane.
We are headed to space.
He's got to save something for next episode, you know.
I want like another bigger drop. I want my room to start shaking.
Oh,
Speak of the ghost.
Completely off the chain.
It's a banger. I want like another bigger drop.
Oh, all right. Gnarly. I'm rattling.
I want my room to start shaking.
Oh, I'm trying to look at it.
Sunday jingle. Emergency jingle. Sunday jingle. Emergency jingle. Bag boy Lear. Think outside the rave.
L.
Okay.
when the great buildings of the cities shall be thrown down, and there will not be left one stone upon another. Do not allow anyone to lead you astray. There will be those who will come in my name, and they will say, I am he, and they will deceive many. When you hear of wars and rumors of wars, do not be alarmed. These things must take place, but this will not yet be the end. For nation will rise against nation. There will be earthquakes and famines, but these are only the beginning of the birth pains. Even before these things come, they will deliver you over to the courts, and you will be mistreated. But this will be your opportunity to bear witness. When they bring you to trial, do not be anxious about what to say, but say whatever is given to you in that hour. For it is not you who will speak, but the Holy Spirit that dwells in you. I will give you wisdom, which none of your adversaries will be able to withstand. You will be hated for my name's sake, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. When you see the abomination of desolation standing in the holy place, then you must flee to the mountains. For in those days there will be tribulation, such as never before. And if the Lord had not cut short those days, no human being would be saved. But for the sake of the elect, whom he chose, he shortened those days. There will be great distress upon the earth, and wrath against the people. They will fall by the sword, and be forced into exile until the times are fulfilled. If anyone says to you, Look, there is the Christ, do not believe them. Many false Christs and false prophets will rise and perform wonders to lead astray even the elect, if it were possible. But be on guard, for I have told you all things beforehand. In the days after this tribulation, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from heaven, and the powers in the heavens will be shaken. Then all the earth will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. He will send out his angels to gather his elect from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven. When these things begin to take place, stand upright and raise your heads, because your redemption is near. Learn from the parable of the fig tree. When its branch becomes tender and puts out its leaves, you know that summer is near. So also, when you see these things taking place, you know that he is near, at the very gates. Truly I say to you, that generation will not pass before all these things are finished. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words shall never pass away. The day or the hour no one knows, not even the Son, but only the Father in heaven. Be on guard and keep watch, for you do not know when the time will come. When a man leaves his home, he puts his servants in charge, each with his own work, and he commands the doorkeeper to keep watch. Therefore, stay alert, for you do not know when the master of the house will return. Do not let the Lord come suddenly and find you asleep. What I say now, I say to all, remain watchful.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on.
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
They all want to share their data. This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
Yeah, man. Armageddon's on the way. We will hunt you down and make you pay.
I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo. We're all gonna die. I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo.
Ooh, vaccinations.
In my people's zoo.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.